Welcome. Sorry about that. Welcome back to another episode of Warsheep Podcast. And today we are going to dive deep into the topic of polygamy once again. Now we're going to be visiting the channel Outstanding Personal Relationships, where these people have been doing it for over 20 plus years. So they've been in the game for a while now. They got a nice, big, beautiful family. He's a man of two wives, I believe. Yeah, he's a man of two wives. Hold on, I lost my camera. He's a man of two wives, and they're going to be discussing who is in charge in polygamy. Now, one thing's for sure is that there is a certain level of expectation when entering into a particular space of honesty and transparency. And typically once a woman enters into it, she believes based on hold on a sec. Why am I losing my camera here? Why is it not back yet? Gosh, this is ridiculous. All right, just give me a second, y'all. Let me try to relaunch this camera again. Okay, let's do it again. Boom, and I'm back. It just dropped out of nowhere. All right, so yeah, so there's a certain type of energy or vibe that comes from women once they enter into a space just based on compromise, that they get some level of authority or say. Now we're going to review this particular video to just make a decision who that really falls upon. Like, does the woman be able to have some sort of authority in the space because she's the one who's looking to compromise, meaning she believes that she has more to sacrifice, or she's sacrificing more, so she should have more of a say as to how things should be regulated and done. Now, all too often I do come across people or men who are in a marriage with a woman who is controlling that particular marriage, and maybe perhaps she has given it or entertained the thought of polygamy, but not has fully accepted it just yet. But we're going to dive into this video, check it out, see what they got to say about it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Denzel. Denzel, what's up? Let's go ahead and get into this video.
Is the sheep preaching hate when he says, I'm not going to let the wolf eat me anymore? If the wolf comes in here, next time he comes in here, I'll do whatever I have to do to keep him off my back. Is the sheep violent, or is the wolf the violent one? He wasn't teaching hate, he was teaching common sense. You know, somebody's knocking you over the head, stop them. Do whatever you have to do to stop them. You know, the ones ahead were afraid of the fact that he might swing back, so they said, no, he's teaching hate, he's violent.
All right, let's see what we got, y'all. Look, they've been doing this thing for a few years now. Like I said, 20 plus years. And hold on a sec. Once again. Let's go ahead and get this thing going.
If women look for the man to be a leader and to lead the family and to be the head of the family, but yet this leader, this head of the family, the one that's supposed to paint the vision and move things forward, has to seek permission from her for an expansion, that's problematic.
Warning, viewer discretion is advised. The content, viewed as an educational material you are about to experience, could challenge your belief, trigger strong emotions, and frankly, piss you off. This isn't for everyone. If you're not ready to confront new ideas, or if your feelings bruise easily, this might be the time to click away. Expect to be challenged, to think, and you might even want to scream at the screen. Proceed with caution, and remember, you chose to be here. Let's get it.
Assalamu alaikum, peace. I am Coach Nadir.
And I'm his wife, Coach Fatima, one of the two.
Indeed. Of course, we are two of the founders of Outstanding Personal Relationships, as well as two of the three authors of the book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. If you don't have your copy, get it now. With that being said, today's video, we're going to discuss something that we get, or Coach Fatima and whatnot, women tend to talk about all the time. I know they've asked you about it on different coaching calls and different things like that. So let's get to it. What is it?
I'm sorry, I have to smile, and oftentimes I laugh at this one. It's, did Coach Nadir get my permission to marry her? Does my husband, he must get my permission to marry again. And if he doesn't, then it don't count. You know, and this is, although I joke, a very serious thing to hurl, say, believe that our husbands must get our permission to marry another wife. The destruction that this specific belief system can have behind those statements, or those different things that women can say to their husbands or hurl at their husbands, or I don't know, it becomes hurtful, because they'll ask me, well, did he get your permission to marry again, like he's my child? And I said, so if he gets my permission, should he go get his mother's permission, his daughter's permission, friends' permission, all these other people's permission as a grown man? As a grown man, we're all adults, but as a grown man, how appropriate would it be for him to come to me and get my permission for him to create or marry again another wife?
Back in 2022, I lost two very important people in my life. Big figures. It really wasn't until February of this.
How appropriate is that? In no other arena of your life.
Well, I mean, you know, people are saying, they're responding, how appropriate this question need to do that. It's very appropriate. That's what they're saying. Right?
Conversations. Yes, absolutely. Having a discussion about it, trying to figure out what we're going to do, what he wants to do. Because I'm not marrying another wife. I don't practice that. However, it becomes inappropriate to say, you must get my permission as your wife, and then I'll give you the green light so that you may marry again. You don't need my permission for anything else but this. Just so we're clear, is what I hear when people ask me that. This question has been asked to me specifically, so I wanted to address it publicly, and I've done it more than one time, but I don't know if I've done it with Coach Nadir right beside me, but I thought it was important, and he already knows that we talk about it in our book, Let's Talk Polygamy Uncensored. And where can they get that? Because I'm like, where can I get my book?
Let's talk polygamy.com.
Yes.
But I want to chime in here, though, too, because there's a big difference in having discussions and having conversations about it. Those are best practices. All right.
Now, one thing's for sure, right, before he jumps in here real quick, is her mindset of course, should he be asking me? Should he be asking his mother? You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, you know, like, who should he be asking? Like, if he has to really ask, in the mindset of people or women who are in this particular space, right? As you can see, of course, she is saying that she's not the one who is practicing that. So really the choice isn't up to her, is what she's relaying, right? That's basically what she's saying, but which has a lot of truth to it, you know. So let's just continue to listen to what they got to say real quick for.
What's important about that thought is it shows how ingrained and socially conditioned men have become to the point of being weak.
Yep.
And if women look for the man to be a leader and to lead the family and to be the head of the family. But yet this leader, this head of the family, the one that's supposed to paint the vision and move things forward, has to seek permission from her for an expansion. That's problematic. That undercuts them. That's something that is commonplace in thoughts because men have become so weak and so pacified. All right, where you want to appease so much so and looking for this type of stuff, and it makes you weak. It's not something, one, that's an attractive quality. However, having conversations about it, letting you know where you stand, being open about it, starting a dialogue and what have you, all of these things are important.
Right.
But me coming to seek permission is not something that is a masculine trait to begin with.
That's right.
All right, and that's not how it was demonstrated by the Prophet ﷺ either. Now, on the flip side, of course, the conversations are important. You should be proactive instead of reactive. You should demonstrate some courage with it.
Now, another thing that's not very masculine is lying about it, is not being forthcoming or honest. You know, I had a guy who I was talking to in regards to this particular topic. We both were at the time not in any relationship at all, and he stated that he would get to know the woman first, allow the woman to get to know him further and first, them getting deeply involved into a relationship first, and then he would inform her that he was a polygamist, and that he believed in that lifestyle. And what I told him is that, you know, me personally, I would want to let her know up front. That way she'll know what she's getting herself into, and that she's not wasting her time. You know what I'm saying? Building a bond with a man who is a polygamist, and that's not a lifestyle that she can be able to really embrace or accept, right? Or would want to try to embrace and accept to be with this man. Now, you know, later on, of course, I informed him it was deceptive in its own nature, right? In which, you know, it truly is, because, you know, you're deceiving her to believe something that is false. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not being forthcoming or honest, like, you know, like a man should, you should outwardly say it, and she make her own choice and decision. But if you're not doing so, then you're leaving her with no other choice but to build a bond with you that could be hard to detach. And then you're hitting her with something that's like kind of blindsiding her, right? Not allowing her to have an opportunity to sort this out in her own mind before building a real connection with you. And this is where we get women who start talking shit, like saying shit like, you know, men are no good, because once you deceive them like that, it's hard for them to trust you. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get trust. Like, I wouldn't trust you. You feel me? Like, if I took my car to a mechanic and the mechanic said, oh yeah, I can fix this, this is fine, I'll just have to do A, B, and C. And then he goes and starts doing the work, and we're invested. I've already paid him half up front. And then he calls me midway through and says, hey, I know I said I could fix this, but it's actually truly this is the actual problem. This is what's truly going on. Now I'm having an issue with trust, because I just brought it to you, had it evaluated, and you didn't tell me the full scope of the issue before we got into doing business. Now my vehicle's in the shop, stuck in the shop, and now it's like a thing is where I got to pay full price in order to get it out. Where you could have told me this up front, and I probably would have been like, okay, well, let me go find somebody else. Or I would have been like, okay, well, since you know what you're talking about, I'm gonna let you do it. Us as men, we got to be more honest, because men practice polygamy without even telling their spouse or telling their partner that they are doing it, the woman that they're with. And this is where it breeds so much distrust and infidelity, is because they failing to be honest with them, you know. So let's just go ahead and get back to this video. But that's just another point that I wanted to make as far as being honest. Be honest. Tell them the truth. Let them know what's up. You're a man. You can talk about it, you know. And I believe she would respect you, even if she were to decide not to join you in it. She still would respect you as a man. Still would support you. Still will respect that you were willing to tell her the truth up front. So just be honest, fellas.
it because we're in such a society that not only is it needed, all right, not only is it the moral and honorable way to go about expanding a family and so on, but that speaks to you and your manhood. All right. So I could confidently say, Miss Wife who thinks that, oh, my husband don't want nobody else, that he does. I
agree with that.
All right, that does, because we're polygamous by nature. Now, if it's advantageous for him to tell you that or allow you to believe whatever you want to believe, that's to be determined. All right. Now, whether or not he wants to go and actively participate, feel like maybe not. And maybe the circumstances and his personal situation, whether it be age or funds or, headache. I've gotten that too. Men love women. They like, look, I got a wife that's such a doggone headache. I can't imagine having two. But that doesn't mean there's more than one wife. If that wife was not a headache. All right. So let's not mistake that, because we get that all the time. My husband only want one. He told me it. Yeah, of course he told you that, because that's the thing you're supposed to tell her, especially when you can't do it and you're not qualified to be doing it. But being able to have these conversations, understand how your man is set up to begin with, is very important, because now what we're talking about is leadership versus not. So the question also that comes to me sometime is, well, how do you handle decisions? Is it a 50-50 thing? So, well, now in some things, it can be 50-50. You can advise, can have input on something like maybe it's what's for dinner, and my vote count with her vote, or maybe not, because I'm not making the dinner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to larger decisions, any wise man is going to seek the counsel of his family, his insiders, inside circle, especially his wife, right? If she's on the same page and has supporting his vision, then that's important to know. But ultimately, just like the CEO of a company, you still have to make that decision as the leader, as that head.
Right.
So seeking the permission is something totally different than consulting, speaking with, getting feedback, and then ultimately making a decision for or against whatever somebody else may say, because you still have to decide what's the best action moving forward, even if someone else doesn't think it's the best.
Oh, I like that Coach Nadir said that.
You have a killer e-commerce store, but your conversion rate, not so killer.
He would go out of town. So there's everybody, the women in this family know this is a rule. And one time I was like, oh, I'm going to try to go to Chicago. And he was on the other side of the world. And I was like, he going to say no. He ain't going. And I asked, and he was like, nope, I'm out of the country. Now, I said, well, it's close to where we live. However, it's far enough. And he couldn't get to me. And people would say, well, I just would have went. I said, no. That's not how I operate. I'm entrusted. I'm a trust. So he's responsible for my safety, and he can't do his job and protect me if he doesn't know where I am. And it's not my job to undermine him while he's on the other side of the world, because that's how you operate. Now, in many cases, people say, well, you two are the monster. You all started we didn't start polygyny. We wrote books and did trainings and we coached about it. However, they get mad and say, you're the monster and you're the one leading the charge on this. In a minute, it's going to rub off on them. And then they get surprised when we say, okay, we're the monster, but don't get mad if you're the clown on our side of the story. Because we didn't create it. We're just trying to help everyone see a different perspective. So if he's responsible for my safety and I'm undermining that, then that's a problem in the marriage. So I can't let somebody outside of the marriage dictate to me that I should be running where I go and when I come and all this stuff. And he needs to just bow down to that. That's an issue. And you spoke about things being unattractive. I would have found it. Now I'm answering this for myself and for other people that need clarity. I would have found it incredibly unattractive had he, if we could go back in time, came to me and said, I need your permission to marry again. I can't even get it out with a straight face because I'm not built like that. Having a discussion, yes, but coming to me and I'm a woman, I didn't get married to a man for him to act like a woman. That's not what I like. That's not what's attractive to me. And he didn't get married to me so that I sit up and act like a man.
At all.
See? But then when it comes to polygyny, I want you to be the woman, and I want you to come to me and get all this permission and let me treat you like a child, but act like a man in all these other areas when I want you to do that. No, how can a man sit with that and be like, oh, I'm cool with that?
And it's not like men don't understand the concerns. You understand the concerns. You have a family.
Yeah, right.
You've grown that and all that kind of stuff. There's emotions and everything that are involved. We're just talking about the crux of dealing with whether or not there's permission and who's leading the family. That doesn't mean you be a tyrant. You don't take concern, hence the consulting and speaking with and having discussions. But if you're not willing to have discussions or willing to listen, don't be surprised that maybe some decisions are made because the person felt this was the best route to go at the time. Even though, again, we don't suggest doing it that route. We suggest what best practices are. Being a mature adult, being able to have a conversation, actively listen, controlling your emotions, discuss some plans and visions, some pros, some cons, and make a decision. All right. So whether that is for or against, practicing polygyny, you can at least do that or should be able to do that as an adult who reached the age of discernment. That's my 2 cents with it.
And it's still the man's choice, even if you say, well, I don't feel like you ready. So if I said to you, you're not ready yet. Now I can say that. That doesn't mean he has to believe that. He could still make the choice to practice polygyny. So that's another, that they could get a little.
And not be ready in practice.
And not be ready.
And, again, that's, we heavily against that. A lot of men, just because, you want and desire to practice it doesn't mean that you're qualified to do so. But we go into more details, of course, in the book and some of our different trainings. So there are measurables that are relatively simple and easy to get. And then there are the intangibles. So all of these things matter, but that's a topic of another video.
Yep.
And one of the chapters in the book.
We're going to wrap it up. And we do discuss the book in our OPR campus, in our book club that we hold on Sundays. So we go a little bit deeper there, and you guys can go there at oprcampus.com for details on that. And if you don't have your book yet, visit us at letstalkpolygamy.com and order your book.
All right, y'all. Coach Nadir, person who help people get their shift together. With that being said, be outstanding. Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, so as y'all can see, this is Coach Navir and Coach, I believe her name is Fatima. They definitely have their channel. Go check them out. Dope channel, man. They just go over a lot of different things and aspects of the relationship style, polygamy, and what it takes to be in one or to be a part of that relationship style. But one thing that is very interesting that I definitely want to touch on is qualifications. Qualifications on being a polygamist or being in polygyny. There's a lot of different things that are speculated, that are people who just go to say without knowledge. They say things that are sort of idiotic, right? And being an idiot is just having a lack of knowledge, not the lack of intellect, right? So you don't know. You're an idiot to it. So, and being an idiot is totally fine, but to be an uneducated idiot or not seeking education as an idiot, that's a problem. You're not even looking to be informed. And I usually say those who are convinced against their will are of the same opinion still, meaning you got to be willing to be convinced in order for me to even really want to talk to you, right? So the biggest thing is this: qualifications. Now, for a man in this space, you cannot be, and I'm going to repeat this, you cannot be a man who is having issues with emotional maturity. If you find yourself punching holes in walls, if you find yourself not being able to control your anger, if you find yourself constantly going back and forth in arguments with your woman, you need to work on your emotional maturity as a man, because you're going to have to double that, right? You're going to have to double that energy when you go into a space of polygamy. it's going to be not just you and her. It's going to be you, her, possibly the children involved in this. If there is any, children involved. And you as the man, you need to be able to regulate the emotional state of women and the children. You'd have to have that capacity to do so for everybody in the household, right? Because if we got everybody in the household who is chaotic, who is, not in control of themselves and emotions, if we have everybody in the house, including the man, who is at this emotional state where it's out of control, then we have a chaotic home. And let's just say that the Most High, he's not going to bless that home if it's chaotic and not in order, right? So that's number one off top. Are you a man who is in control of his emotional state, who can be able to have some self-control? And this is purely an emotion. Sometimes, when it comes to decision making, of course, you got to be a good decision maker, but also you'll want to be somebody who can, make poor decisions, but fix it, but get back to it, who won't give up and just, allow life to take over, you know what I mean? And just destroy the home. But somebody who can make a bad choice and say, you know what, let me fix this and go grind and don't take no for an answer and get it done. A good planner, somebody who's somebody who can plan a day, who can be able to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. But you can be able to plan a day out in advance, right? Because there's going to be a lot of, I don't know what to do, or I don't know what to eat, huh? Come on, somebody. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to eat. I don't know what to wear, things like that. Be decisive in what your thoughts are. You know what I mean? And, know when you can be able to remove yourself from situations and conversations. Know when it's time to remove yourself. Know when it's time to allow some things to rest, to settle, for you to come back and talk to her about, or talk to whoever about. These are qualifications that it takes for a man to be able to enter in the space of polygamy. We're not going to even start with the finances. Financially, you can have everything you need financially. You can be, well off to where you can be able to take care of multiple women, not just only two, but let's say 4 or 5, right? You can be, just that wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Which is cool. It's great. But if you don't have the emotional capacity to handle all of that, you cannot enter into the space, because you will not have sanity. I'm sorry, but you can't have the women emotional as well as the man. It just don't work that way. If you're effeminate, if you're not a masculine man, don't even consider it, because you just be treated like one of the women. You'll just be treated like one of the girls. You know what I'm saying? There's no honor, no respect. There's no boundaries. People are doing what they want to do. If you're a man who's allowing your woman or your wife to run the show, run the marriage, do what she wants to do, don't even think about it. You need to first get yourself in an authoritative position over your woman, over your wife, so you can be able to better steer and guide her in this thing, right? Because women don't really know what they want. They really don't. They really don't truly know what they want, but they know what they respond to. You don't do what they want, what they say they want. It doesn't matter. You ask the question of, okay, what type of man are you into? What type of man are you looking for? That's a question that doesn't matter. Hold on a sec. That's a question that really does not even matter, to be honest. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because that woman don't know what she wants yet. Just keep it above. She don't know. She really don't know. She can just say what black men typically say as far as what they want. But she don't know what she truly wants. She knows what she responds to. Some women say, hey, I don't want it to be with a man who's a masculine man, an alpha man, or whatever. It's the truth. It's facts. You know, they don't want to be in authority over you. They don't want to tell you that you're supposed to do this and guide you through life. You know, they want to be taught. They don't want to be teaching a man to do anything. Now, somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Saying what I'm saying. And I'll go ahead and I'll say, you know what? I'm invested in it. I promise you, there's not too many women out here who are looking to teach a man anything. And it's in their basic nature. It's in their nature to not desire to want to teach a man. Now, they will share information with a man. They will be, they will do that. They'll share plenty of information. A woman's built up of 23 Y chromosomes. Hence, you already know the reason why they always ask him why. It's in their DNA. They may just ask you why. Even if it is to you guys' own detriment, you only got a second spirit. The question of why is called. Because they're intuitive and they like to learn. Nothing wrong with that. But as men, of course, we're going to hear what needs to be done. We might just get it done. This is what I need to do. Okay, sometimes we might ask how. But a why is not necessarily where we want to go. You know, we don't always want to go to a what. Yeah, we want to know how. You know, we want to go to a how. Oh man, I got it. Yeah, we will want to go to a how, but a why is not necessarily always what we want. Just ain't. And real quick, man, let me go ahead and drop this out here real quick, y'all. Got a new series coming up called Reflections, man. We're going to be talking about family matters. We're going to be talking about just relationships that are more personal in those ways, not necessarily, you know, and just telling life stories, right? And experiences and sharing that journey. And, you know, honestly, I think this is going to be a fantastic series. I think it's going to give people an opportunity to open up and speak about things and to be able to have a level of transparency to where they can be able to relate to others, right? Because there's so many people out here who are dealing with some of the same situations that you may be going through. But if no one talks about it, then guess what? There is no growth from it. And I believe that we all should be seeking growth. And you need to really be trying to tell your story. What is your journey like? You know? Shout out Seasons to Journey. Mother has that channel, Seasons to Journey, and it truly is seasons. There truly is different seasons that you journey on a day-to-day basis. And you really experience different outcomes when it comes to whoever you interact with. And it's really hard to gauge and understand what's going on whenever you sometimes you don't even realize what you're doing or what you're going through until you're actually going through it. And so for us to communicate and talk about a lot of these different things, I think that it is so important so people can really, so you guys can really gauge and identify when somebody may be having some sort of ill will towards you, or if they truly do care for you because they really are trying to look out for you, right? But we all journey through our different seasons, and we can always have a great community of people who can discuss some of the challenges they have to overcome. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start. Listen, the series is going to be dope. It's going to be fantastic. Listen, we're going to be bringing out a lot of different things. And of course, it's going to have a different vibe to it. So I just wanted to put that out there, y'all. Hopefully, let's get excited about that, man. Let's get it pumped up. We can be able to have some therapeutic sessions on there. And as it states, your journey in life, the one that you journey, the journey of healing is light. Now, that's a double entendre, right? Because when we shed light on some of the things that we're going through, it reveals what we need to overcome, right? And it allows us to lighten that burden, so the burden is just not so heavy for us to be able to go through our life on a day-to-day basis. Holding it and hardening it in without shedding a bit of light on some of the things that you may identify as traumatizing or whatnot in your life can be a heavy burden to bear just for yourself, especially for men. Men have a high level of suicide rate in this country. And also they're the least heard gender, right? Are people, heterosexual men. They're expected to be strong and to overcome all obstacles without complaining or without talking about the way that obstacle has made them feel. Now, I'm not saying that we got to be all in our feelings and sobbing and crying all the time, 24/7, but it does help to have a shoulder to lean on and cry on, right? Or just to lean on, just to talk to somebody. You know what I'm saying? And be able to say what you got to say. It always helps. And I believe that would help a lot of men refrain from self-deleting. So, is learning how to embrace those emotions and embrace that suffering and being able to talk about it with strength and with honor and pride and being able to move forward, move through it, right, and overcome it. So that's one of the biggest things for the series, y'all, right? It's just to discuss those things, to talk about those things, so that way men have a good safe space, as well as women would have a good safe space and understanding that people are in the same boat, that they have the same challenges. They are not alone. So they don't have to worry about self-deleting because, listen, we all strong enough to make it through a lot. And as I said, you know, if I were to put my life on paper and write a book, I promise you it'd be a #1 bestseller. Listen, I promise you that if I were to make a movie out of my life, it'll be a beautiful movie that you would love to watch. But it's still being written. Still a lot of things to continue to overcome and to be successful at and to grow from and to learn from. Can't say that I've always made the best choices and decisions, but I can say that no matter what, I fought to make sure that I came out on top. And I didn't think about quitting or giving up. So let's be sure we have the same mindset. And it's okay to have your reflections on the things that you had to overcome in life. Because life is going to throw a lot at you and you got to be willing to handle it. So my thing is that be sure that you focused. Be sure, like Sis Shay said, speaking into your life. That's one of the biggest things. You want to be able to speak into your life. Speak life. You know what I mean? Into your life. Stop talking all this death talk. If you want to talk death, go to a cemetery. You can talk death all day long with them. But you're in the land of the living. Speak life into yourself. Do not speak death. We got cemeteries if you want to talk like that. Go talk like that there. So, we're going to get back into what we had originally planned to do today, right? And since, you know, Cameron want to act up, we're going to go ahead and keep it right here. My thing is this, okay? When we are making a decision to join or to be in a polygamy or polygyny lifestyle, it is a bit of a sacrifice or shift when it comes to women. They have a lot to shift from mindset wise. So be understanding of that shift, fellas. Be understanding of that change. Be understanding, especially if you've been with your wife for years and you are just discovering this relationship style. understand that she's still growing, that she's still learning. Treat her like a child, like a babe. You know, be patient, be understanding that there is going to be a level of resistance and just a lack of understanding of what you're doing and what you're leading the family into. Don't be upset with her. Don't find a way to be able to get rid of her or whatnot. And I'll be honest with you. When men get into this particular lifestyle, right, and they convert over into this particular lifestyle, I promise you, and they're already married, let's keep it real, fellas. You really just doing it because you're hoping that she may leave. I'm going to say that again. You're really just doing it because you're in hopes that she may leave. And that would help you not have to break her heart and tell her that you just don't want to be with her anymore. That you don't want her. And this is the reason why you've introduced it into your family structure. You introduced it into your family structure in form of a nuclear bomb, in form of Hiroshima, in form of Israel versus Palestine, and you're Israel, right? You introduced it to be destructive, to separate. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to keep it real. Is that the reason why you've introduced it so late into when you first discovered it? So many men probably don't really want to admit that, but I promise you it may be true. You know why? Because I felt the same way at one point. Being a nice individual or a polite or kind person is a trait that is a lost art in this world. And it's good that you do have a genuine heart and you don't want to hurt this woman. But it hurts more when you're dishonest, right? Just be honest. And yes, communication is key to when you communicate effectively, then you are choosing life. And if you chose the wrong woman to be with, communicate with her that you don't wish to continue on a relationship with her, or don't wish to continue on in a marriage with her, and do the necessary steps to separate, right? Because men all too often would tolerate and put up with a lot and allow women to walk all over them, or to be not as motivated, not as driven as she should be in her marriage, not as focused on not only chemistry between herself and her husband, but also the romance, also the things that made him fall in love with her. She can get really lazy in her relationship and marriage, and it leaves that man to have to decide whether or not he wants to continue in a marriage and looking for an exit. I once was talking to this one guy. We was in a car driving in a truck, and he began to speak about his wife and some of the things that he was going through with her, and how he was just this close to being ready to give it up on her, and I listened to what he had to say about her and the things that he felt in regards to her in the situation that they're in their marriage. And I can only reflect back on mine, like when I was married, when I had a wife, while he was speaking about it. And this couple was together for quite some time. Like, I'm talking, this is like high school sweetheart type thing, right? So one thing's for sure is I'm never going to speak in regards to separation, like, yo, you need to just leave her type shit. Like, no, like, you guys need to figure out different avenues to work it out. So I just informed him, like, look, man, I know that you're feeling this way about her right now, but I promise you it could be worse. You know, it could be worse. You definitely need to go and communicate how you feel with her. Now, some of the things that he had issues with is that the level of control coming from this woman, right? Of, okay, well, these are my assets, so I'm in control of these things. And it makes him feel less of a man. It makes him feel as though he can't have or want to have an opinion or decision on any of the matters. And it makes her, and it puts her in a certain light of being authoritative, right? In an authoritative position. And, you know, women, when they get into those positions, they're no fun to be around, right? Because they're mean, they're nasty, right? They're short with you in temper a lot of times, and it just seems like they just give off that energy of, I'm the boss, you know, I'm in control type of energy, or you don't know anything type of energy. In which I would have to say I agree that this woman does give off that energy, you know. You know, even if you express, hey, I don't know anything, she still would pretend as though, okay, well, I know it all, you don't. So I don't blame them in those ways, right? But like I said, it could be worse. Communication is always great. And like I told him, communicate. Let her know what's up. Let her know what she needs to work on. Some of the things that are lacking. And then always seek counsel, because there's safety in a multitude of counsels. But the number one thing that I really told him is self-reflection. Reflect on yourself. Don't grow hardness. Don't get a calloused heart towards her. Don't build a hardness of hearts toward her. Love her. You know, show her love. Even though it may be difficult, still show it to her. Don't allow that heart to grow cold, because, you know, once it goes there, well, there's no real coming back from that. Once it goes there, you know, men tend to turn into monsters. They tend to turn into totally different people. People that you can't even really recognize, you know. People who are short-tempered, a man would become short in his temper, would become angry all the time, a look of disdain on his face permanently, you know, lacking desire of her. He becomes an infidel, showing infidelity, right? Not as motivated to provide for her, making poor decisions, right? To sleep with other women without her knowing, right? Without being honest or forthcoming. This is what men tend to retreat to when they grow that coldness or hardness of hearts. And it doesn't lead to anything successful or beautiful, right? And trust me, no amount of counseling can be able to repair a cold heart once it's gone cold. That man has to make a sound decision to want to reverse that and want to open up and love her again. I know y'all all seen the movie The Grinch and how he started out with the coldness of heart. Now, trust me, I don't celebrate Christmas, okay? But I do know the story and I do know the movie. But he had a cold heart before, right? In which, hey, I'm just using this as an analogy. Cold heart before, until he saw or he brought himself to learn to love the people, right? The people. I'm not going to even talk about the holiday, right? Forget the holiday. Let's refer that to the people of Whoville. That's when his heart came from being a stony, cold heart to being a heart of flesh, a heart that beats. And that's when he became joyful. But before, a man will be a Grinch in his marriage, in his relationship, if the woman is not performing to his liking, to his standards. But get this, the man can't say anything in regards to what he dislikes about the woman and her performance without being viewed as a chauvinistic pig are what do they call it now? The other masculine term. It's slipping my mind. Yeah. So without being referred or being called a name, a man cannot communicate with his woman if he believes that she should perform better in doing housely duties, if he believes she should perform better in trying to please him and trying to honor him, in honoring him and pleasing him and not disrespecting him in public. We just recently had that happen. And he can't really express that because he'll be held fully accountable for making her feel some kind of way, for making her feel bad. So this man has to be miserable in his space, in his relationship space, just because he wants to avoid this woman feeling bad. Well, I say to hell with that. I say to hell with that mindset and that thought process. I say to hell with it. I think that a man should speak up. He should tell her what he desires from their space, from their relationship. And she's not looking to fulfill that. I believe that he should find him somebody who will fulfill that. And she should find her somebody who would accept her for who she is. And that's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Because it's better than to have two broken hearts, right? Two broken home, broken relationship, and then bringing that into a dating market to destroy more people and to traumatize more people. Just make an honest decision to not deal with each other, because you're not going to fulfill what the man's desires is. Now, we all know the term happy wife, happy life, and that's bullshit. Because if the man's not happy, the whole goddamn house should be coming down. That woman should be striving to be sure that this man is well taken care of and don't have to speak on her or to her in regards to things that she's not accomplishing. She should be proactively getting them done through proper communication, because he's already told her what his expectations are. The way that we are doing things in society right now when it comes to our relationships is not building a genuine bond between a man and a woman. It's building a space that can be resented. It's opening up a space and an ability to resent each other at some point. And of secrecy. We're not being transparent and honest. We're not being transparent and honest about wanting multiple women. Whereas to where biologically a man desires more than one woman. I don't care what they say about, oh, well, I don't want this, that, and the third. A woman who, wants to share a man. I don't have any self-respect or whatever they would like to say, or, oh, is unattractive. I don't care what that man says. He's still with another woman, and he's cheated on a woman before. He's been in a committed space monogamously and stepped out plenty of times. Or he's been in a monogamous space and he can't keep his eyes off women who are gorgeous or beautiful, who are attractive. I don't care what he says. He can say whatever he'd like to say. But I guarantee you he's just saying what a woman wants to hear, so he can be able to have what? Women. So being open and honest, transparent, we already know this is what's going to breed a safer environment in a relationship, right? But instead, we choose the opposite. We choose to be dishonest. We choose to not have integrity with our woman, the woman who's supposed to help us build a nation. And you cannot build a nation with a queen who wants attention from all the peasants. But you can build a nation with a queen you can be honest with, you can be open with, you can be transparent with, that you can just talk about anything with. That you can be able to say, hey, we're going to bring this woman in because not only is she an amazing person, and I'm pretty sure that you guys are going to get along great, because I have a great level of discernment of people and their personalities, and I know that you guys will get along. But she is an attorney. She is a doctor. She understands agriculture. She's great with children. She can be able to teach children. She is patient. She understands, right? She has all these great qualities to be able to add to your family unit. That this would be a no-brainer for you guys to enter into this union. And I had somebody leave a comment not too long ago and said, you know what, this thing makes sense. You know, like economically, socially, things like that. You know, this makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Because, you know, what they will want you to do here in this country is continue to raise the economy prices, right? Continue to do their inflation and make you think that the way of life should be a monogamous form of relationship, which you guys are struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, barely can make bills, make rent, and you got to explain to your children how they can't have certain things when they go on this field trip. How once it's time for them to go into sports, you know, we need to raise some money to get you what you need. How the single mother over here has to be in this position because and working her ass off tirelessly because she got to have her own man. And if she can't find her own man, and most men overlook certain aspects when it comes to single mothers. It's difficult to date out here a lot of the times. Men tend to not take you as serious in those spaces, right? And if they do, they got a family of their own. They're probably not being too honest about them being married with children or something along those lines. This is what I mean about taking serious. Because if you open up or broaden the horizons of that particular relationship, just being able to engage in that would open up so many doors for women who didn't have a shot at an opportunity, who may be widowed, who may have made a very poor choice in diving into their career head first and not looking to build a family. Now they're looking around trying to figure out, well, where's, you know, what's it to life? Like they're trying to figure out, what is there more to life? Like empty, you know, looking at an empty house might be a beautiful home. You might have a great car, beautiful job. Girlfriends might be some of the best that you could find in the world, right? But you still go home to a cold space. Now, let me tell you this. I spoke to this woman before, right? We were kind of talking a bit. And her girlfriends were married with children. A lot of them are, majority of them are, most of them were. And she was the only one who was still single and looking, right? Now, she's around 30-something years old, right? At this time. And at her big age, she still hadn't had an opportunity. She had a pretty decent house. She had a nice house, a good job. And she was taking trips by herself, alone. Going to concerts alone. Doing the single things that she normally would do with friends. She's doing these things alone. If that doesn't make you feel some form of desperate, no children, no nothing, or loneliness, Like, these are some of the things you used to have a good time with your girlfriends who are now married. Now you're doing these things alone. You hitting the wall hard, right? Because you chose not to be committed to one man. Because you chose not to focus on building a family as well as a career, or just focusing on building a family. A woman should come out of high school and their main goal, like how it used to be back in the 50s and 60s, is to focus on family, having a family, building a family, nurturing a family, because this is what women are designed to do. This is what women are designed to do, y'all. They're designed to build, to nurture, to amplify, to grow what a man's vision is. That's what she's designed to do. You give a woman a seed, she grows a child. You give a woman a house, she makes it a home. Come on. The only reason why the infrastructure that we know today exists is because a woman desired it. A woman desired to be out of the elements of nature. Nature was a woman's number one obstacle and number one fear. Number one. She didn't know whether she'd live or die being out in nature. That's why they're so timid around bugs. That's why it's hardwired into them to be afraid of so many things to keep them alive. To keep them alive, yo. That's the reason why y'all start jumping when y'all see a roach that's not going to be able to eat you or do anything harm to you, right? Like, you see a little something, you see a little bit of this or that, you scream. You get afraid, right? Because it's hardwired in you to do so. So let's not play about this, right? Because I ain't gonna sit here and play in your face. We need to understand that, we all have our roles to play, our parts to play, and societal norms ain't always gonna be beneficial to us. You got to understand and pay attention to what they don't want you to do. If they're willing to allow you to marry the same sex, why ain't they willing to allow you to marry multiple women? Why not? Because that builds kingdoms. It builds nations. It builds unity and strength of people. Does it not? Where did the 12 tribes come from? 4 different women. 1 man, 4 women. Come on. You're building a full nation, right? It's harder to take down a unified people. That's the reason why you step out your door and you see your neighbor and you don't even speak. It's because here in the States, they got you hardwired to be individuals, not to be unified. Right? And we have the saying, right? That we love to shed light on these things. This is the reason why we have these conversations. We love to shed light because light creates understanding. Understanding creates patience. Patience creates love, and love creates unity. All those things that when you step out your front door, you do none of. You don't shed any light on how your neighbor's feeling for the day. How you doing, neighbor? As you used to. You don't take a moment or a second to understand how they may be feeling, as well as your family, right? Some of y'all don't even talk to them, barely even call them. You don't take a second to understand how they may be feeling, right? You don't take a second to be patient when you're on a road. Just saw today, guy got shot, right? Guy got shot twice in the chest. Well, once in the chest, twice in the head because he had road rage. Walked up on a guy in a truck with a gun and got downed immediately right here in Houston, Texas. That's right. Love has the power of healing. And women are the weaker vessel. We got to always keep that in mind, especially men. You gotta keep that in mind, fellas. They're not gonna always understand everything. Just gotta be gentle with them. So my thing is this, right? Whenever we are engaging with anyone who we don't even know, building a culture of getting to know them better and interacting with people would help in multiple different ways. Not only does it make your mood better, I notice that when I'm smiling and I'm engaging and I'm inviting as a person, and the troubles of life isn't weighing heavy on me, or if they are, I'm able to push that emotion back and bring forth a more prosperous me, a more inviting me version of myself, that people will go out of their way to do whatever they need to do for you. That people will go out of their way. I remember of course, was going over and I decided to stop and get some lunch, right? I'm just driving. Stopped to get some lunch at a place called PS. It's like an Italian restaurant where they actually, they cook the food. There's chefs that's there, but it's like a chain restaurant. They're all over the place. And I stopped by Pieta's to get some food, and I typically order, the same thing all the time. I go in there and order the pasta. I forget the name of it. It's the Mediterranean or something like that. But it is a creamy sauce with the penne pasta and with tomatoes and spinach, bit of and what I typically get is grilled salmon with it. And this is a spicy sort of dish. By the time I make it to the register, this thing's like $20, y'all. Just this one bowl of noodles and maybe a drink, perhaps, right? $20. I'm like, wow, prices are going crazy right now. Inflation is just crazy. So I begin to get ready to pay for it. She's like, hey, I'm talking to this lady. She walks up to me. She says, hello, how are you? And I'm very inviting. I'm smiling. I'm doing well. I appreciate you asking. How are you? We're having dialogue, and I can see that she's smiling. She's enjoying the conversation that we're having, right? And, on this particular day at this particular time, I'm more chipper and more like really in great spirits. And it gets infectious. Like, people get infected when you are in a great spirit and you have a great spirit about you and you're smiling. You're doing something for that person when they see you and you're smiling and you have a great spirit about you and you're interacting with them. It really determines the way that their day is going to go for the rest of the day. Because if you're a total, bitch to them, then the rest of their day, they might be bitching other people out, right? But if you're in great spirits and you're interacting with them in a great way, they are going to look forward to their interactions with the rest of the people for the rest of the day. Rather than saying, damn, I don't even want to deal with this shit today, right? Because of you. Because you brought that on them. But she was very, very sweet girl. And came out about $20 or whatever. She's like, hey, but if you leave us a review, I can go ahead and give you a discount real quick. So I left a review. Took like $10 off of the meal. Just like that. Right? So now I'm at $10. Just because I smiled, just because I was polite, just because I was inviting, she was willing to do it. Left a review, boom, it was good. This is what's important. Same thing when it comes to women. You got to take that into consideration too. When a man comes home to you, are you inviting? Are you smiling? Are you like a puppy just waiting for him to get there? If the dog's outdoing you, ladies, if the dog's outdoing you, right, and being excited for this man to get home, then you're not doing something right. You're not doing something right. You need to fix that. You know what I'm saying? And don't go beat the dog every single time the dog gets by the door and wants to wait for him to get home. Because you don't want him to outdo you. No. You need to be outdoing this dog. Outdo the dog. Be excited to see your man. Be excited to see him. Even if he made you upset. I'm pretty sure you guys can work it out at some point, but be excited to see him. Be open with him. Be transparent with him. Allow him to be transparent with you, right? That way you guys can create a safe space for you both to communicate and talk to each other. If he's feeling some kind of way, wouldn't you want him to come to you and talk to you about the way he's feeling? I believe the answer is yes. You would want to know how he feels. You would want to know what's going on in his life. Stop putting so many stipulations on him. Stop putting so many boundaries or barriers for him to overcome. Allow him to lead you and make the decisions for you both. I'm pretty sure if he identifies that something is hurting you, that he would, if he's a good man, that he would make a decision not to do those things, right? But he also will identify whether you're trying to manipulate his emotions. Woman, stop being so manipulative. Do not try to manipulate him. How about we stop that? With your emotions, your emotional state. You know? Just because you feel that way don't mean that he has to act on how you feel to be a good man to you. It just means that you need to check yourself in the way that you're feeling. And you need to come out and you need to renew the way that you're thinking about things and allow him to lead you in it, right? Because all too often we find ourselves manipulating situations so it can go our way. Woman, talking to you, so you can go your way and not go the way that it should go to benefit everybody as a whole, right? Or benefit him. Ultimately, person that should benefit. You want it to just benefit yourself at all times. Yeah, you got to shut that mind frame of thinking down completely. And you got to renew your mind, transform yourself, right, into being somebody who's just going to be there for him in whatever decision he's going to make. Be there. I promise you, he would respect you and cherish you way more if you just be there. So while we're doing these things, because honestly, it's easy to talk about men. It's easy to talk about what they need to fix, of course. And we all know who they are and what they are. They've been getting bashed and they've been getting told that they ain't shit for years now. Okay? So it's an easy conversation for us to have. We can make songs about it. Right? But women seem to lack the understanding the most. And if we can address that within our own community, as well as others, then I believe that we can create a successful and a healthier environment, not only for ourselves, but our families, right? And for society as a whole. Because regardless, and that's right, forgiveness is love. Love is healing. Healing is salvation. Salvation is cure for all pain and suffering. Yeah, and it is. It is. It is. And, you know, my thing is that we all are working on forgiveness and being able to forgive freely. Sometimes it's harder with other people than it is, you know. Sometimes forgiveness comes easy for others, but it's very difficult for other people. Like, there's a huge difference. You know what I mean? It should always come easy for your husband. You should always be able to forgive him, and it should always come easy for him, right? Despite what he does and what he's doing. Because this is your life partner. This is somebody you want to do life with. You should be able to forgive him and move forward. Same thing with this man. Man, you should be able to forgive that woman. As long as she hasn't, betrayed your trust or done anything to destroy boundaries or anything like that, you should be able to forgive her. She makes mistakes, forgive her. don't have a hardness of heart towards her. So yeah, these things are going to breed a healthy relationship. And we're still talking about qualifications. The mind frame of thinking when I'm mentioning everything that I'm talking about is the mind frame of thinking you have to have when you're in a a space of polygyny. And so you have to know that when you're in this space of polygyny, that you have to have these qualities for one another. Woman's not going to have those qualities off bat. She must be taught, right? You got to teach her. You got to show her. You got to show her that a lot of the things that she believes would be happening wouldn't be a problem. You know, you got to show her what type of man you are and what you're able to do, right? Your capabilities. Because, you know, one of the biggest things that I hear is that how can you be able to love two women at once? Right? One of them's got to be lacking something, right? And I believe that they may be true. It may be true for certain men, but I don't think the majority of them is true for. I think if you're going to have the proper qualifications, that you have to understand balance. Be balanced in what you're doing. Not only in the choices that you're making, but how you're treating everybody in the space. And you notice I haven't even touched on finances yet. Because finances is not the sole authority whether you're prepared to be in this particular relationship style or not. Like I said before, money, the love of money is the root of all evil. Money does not determine anything. You can have enough to have multiple women, right? But if you do not have the emotional capacity, if you don't have the maturity, if you don't have certain things that line up with it, then it's worthless, because everybody's just going to be, it's going to be a free for all. Do what thy wilt. It'll be a Aleister Crowley relationship. It'll be out of order. It'll be miserable for you and for everybody who's involved, because there's no sense of direction. You're just as emotional as a woman. So you need to focus on not being that. And then the woman has to focus on her emotions and being able to communicate, right? Because she could be not qualified as well as a man. Like, let's not even get into a woman's qualifications and being in this space. She can make a decision to be in this space. But like one of the guests that I had on before, a woman could be in a depressive state, just depressed, right? Don't want to do anything, hardly want to do anything that involves work or anything. You're not qualified, sorry, to be in this particular space or relationship. You're just not qualified yet. You need to do self-work. You need to work on yourself. And while we're on that topic, right, it's interesting because I recently was talking to another woman who will remain anonymous. And she seemed to be interested at one point, right? And then it turned out that I guess she felt as though she wasn't, okay? Which was totally fine. That's totally fine. But it just seemed like we were beating around the bush about it. Like, not really trying to say it at some point, but saying it, but not really saying it. And I'm just like, why don't you just get to the point? Stop beating about the bush, right? Finally, she said what she had to say. I'm like, okay, there we go. That's the bush. And I politely just said, hey, it was great working with you. It was great, meeting you, whatever. Cool. Appreciate this, that, and the third. In which her response was, okay, cool. Now, this whole conversation thread was kind of like just not really me saying things and then her having short answers to those things. Like, more people who are dealing with you are talking to you, you'd be a bit more polite to them about, well, yeah, it was great. You'll probably compliment them. It was great meeting you too. It was really fun working with you. Things like that. But this is not the type of conversations that we're having. If I read the thread, then you'd be like, well, damn, maybe she should be a little more polite. In fact, that's exactly how I felt. And so I asked her, I said, are you typically or normally this rude? Like, is this typically or normally who you are? Are you normally this rude? And she said, what do you mean I'm rude? Right? Or something like that. And she said, how am I rude? Is what she said. And I said, and presumptuous, because she was being very presumptuous. She was presuming that I was angry that she said that she wanted to work on herself or whatever. We're going to be so focused, all that. So she was presumptuous. She presumed that I was angry about it and proceeded to say, like, hey, what's wrong with me working on me? I'm like, well, I never said there was something wrong with that, And I'm like, well, you're being rude and you're being presumptuous. Because it's one thing to say, you know what? Yeah, it was great meeting you, great talking to you, great working with you, because we did a little bit of work together. That's how I met her. As opposed to saying, how am I rude? And then I'm saying, and presumptuous. And you're presumptuous too. It's like, what are you talking about? So, of course I'm going on. I say, wow, you don't even realize it. I mean, you are attractive, but you're not that attractive, right? You should really work on your manners and personal skills. I don't see that as being rude. I don't see it as being disrespectful. I see it as me being honest with you. You ask, what am I talking about? So I'm giving you an answer. Going on to say, what I told her as well is to presume I was saying currently that we currently have chemistry is presumptuous. Because I didn't say that. I was saying in future we could have had some form of chemistry, right? And I said to presume that I was checking for you through somebody else, or trying to figure out who she was through somebody else, was presumptuous, because I wasn't. And lastly, to presume that I was upset about you giving a BS excuse about self-focus, right, and not being able to look at your phone hardly ever. It's all BS. Come on now, let's stop the cap. That's BS. No one's that busy. No one's ever that busy. You're not the president of the United States. You're not that busy, right? Okay. You just do it for who you feel you would like to do it for. So let's keep it real. But to presume that I would be upset about it, it's presumptuous. And, of course, I was almost offended by that. I'm like, well, what makes you think that I'm just upset? And so, yeah, of course, no, you're fine. I'm like, yeah, I'm around a lot of beautiful women all the time. I'm just not that pressed to be upset about you saying what you're saying. You could have easily responded with, well, I really appreciate this. I really appreciate meeting you. It was nice meeting you. Good working with you. But the majority of what I'm trying to bring out of the conversation that I'm telling you about right now is that she had an opportunity to be polite at any point during this conversation. And at no time did she choose to be polite, to be kind, to be courteous. Didn't choose it at not one point. Easily could have been done. And so that's what I found to be very rude, is that she was not very polite. She was not very kind, and she was presumptuous. Just making assumptions and presumptions that something was what it was when it truly wasn't. Women got to really you guys got to fix this bullshit about thinking that people are feeling some kind of way just based on you rejecting them, right? because they're not. Some of them are, but ones who don't appear to be, you should at least ask a question. Hey, does this make you upset? At least. Just ask a question. Don't be presumptuous. You know? Don't be presumptuous. And don't be rude. If you took your time out to give a guy your number, to flirt with him, to show interest, and then you decide to back out of it, and once he's looking to pursue you, you decide that you want to go the opposite way, just at least politely do it. Don't do it like he owes you something or that he was bothering you the whole time. You made the decisions that you made to not only engage with him, right, in flirtatious activity, but you also made a decision to give him your number when he didn't even ask for it sometimes. Or he may have asked for it and you're like, okay, yeah, sure. But then just to not give him a time of day, just be upfront and honest and transparent at all times, right? Now, safety may be involved. So when he, you may exchange numbers. When he first texts you, just make it very clear. You're already free and clear. You're not in his face, right? You're off somewhere else. Don't start acting like you're having some normal conversations with him. Just tell him up front, hey, I know that I gave you my number, but I'm just really not interested right now. I'm working on myself. I thought about it and I really appreciate it. Very flattered that you approached me in the way that you did. Thank you so much for being a gentleman. Something that makes you appear to be a kind person. Don't be a rude woman. Don't be a bitch about it. Just be kind. You know what I mean? Like, don't be rude. So that's just one thing that you can take from it. So I really want to say this, right? When we're working on self and we're working on development of not only self, right, but of just a family structure, being able to show one another compassion, love, understanding, and kindness. These are things that are just basic human instincts, and I believe everybody's entitled to. Like, you're entitled for somebody to be kind to you for the day. You're entitled for people not to trample over your rights as a living being on this earth. There's things that you're entitled to, right? That they should have enough home training to give freely without being coached into it. And if there's a woman who is displaying a level of entitlement that they don't have to be kind to you, then you need to understand what type of woman that you're pursuing, right? You probably shouldn't pursue her. Because if she has this opportunity to be kind in her whole life, same thing if you're going out on a dinner date, and she's rude to a waiter, right? Very short or not really engaging. Don't say thank you. Don't say please, may you please do certain things, but she's just ordering and bossing around or behaving as though the waiter is not an important human being as well. That's somebody that's a telltale sign that that's somebody who you need not to deal with, because she can't even be polite in some of the most, or courteous in some of the most basic ways that most human beings would consider it mandatory. Like, yo, you should be a little bit more courteous in these spaces. Just means that they're lacking emotional intelligence. They're lacking self-awareness. They may be very self-centered people, meaning you're going to always come second. No matter what, you're going to always come second. It doesn't, even if you got something important to do, you're coming second. Even if it's your birthday, right? Or if it's your day to do something to enjoy yourself, she's going to be looking to do something that she wants to do, right? She's not going to care about you. It just explains so much about a person's character when they're lacking courtesy, common courtesy, and just to show some sort of respect, even that they may have even engaged or in speaking with a person. I mean, people who speak to random people on the street was like, hey, it was really nice talking to you. Very nice show an act of kindness and courtesy. Even if they're not in agreements as to what they were talking about, even if they were seeing odds. Well, it was nice talking to you. Very courteous, very respectful, right? And if you come across a woman who can't give you that common courtesy, it's a no. Instantly. Red flags all over the place. Now, this same woman, right, heavily engaged, right, in her own career. That's what you want to do, which is great. I mean, do you know what I mean? That's a great thing, right? Just be immersed in your career. I think it's a beautiful thing for a woman to be that driven. No husband, no children. Yeah, we're going to be hitting that wall real soon. And men are not going to be checking for you as much, just based on you just kind of being up there in age. And the type of men that you want to go for, those men, they want younger women. They want younger women to deal with fewer issues, right? Majority of them, you know. Now, I would say, of course, some of those men would be attracted to you. They want to be around you, but they may not take you serious. And I'm not saying that you totally can't find anybody, but I'm saying it just becomes a little bit more difficult, right? Because you got these younger girls who are competing, and they may be 100% focused on building a family while you're focused on building your career. It's going to be slim pickings. Like, you're going to have a hard time finding something, right? So, when you're thinking about career first, ladies, just keep that in mind. No matter how great your career is and how fulfilled you may be in that career, there's nothing more fulfilling than building a family, than having a family, than having a husband you can go home to and build life with, right? There's nothing more fulfilling than that. Because at the end of the day, you can look around as an older woman or man and see over 10 sentient beings that have come from you, that are around you on your day, honoring your life, not for what you did for your career, but for the individuals that came from you, wanting to build a family. I wonder if I can find this real quick, but there was a video circulating out there that a little girl wanted to become pregnant. She said, she said that she wanted to be pregnant. And they were like up in arms about this. Like, what? She too young for this, that, and the third. I'm like, listen, that is beautiful. Like, she wants to be a mother. Hopefully not a single mother, right? But she wants to be a mother. Okay, I found it, y'all. I found it. Hold up. Let's go and get into this one. Okay, hold on. Let's go. That she wants to be a mother. let's look at this, man. This is crazy.
I want to be pregnant.
She want to be pregnant. That is fantastic to me. Okay? Saying she wants to be a mother. Let's look at some of these comments. What do you want to be when you grow up? All right. What do you want to be when you grow up? She wants to be pregnant. Let's see.
I want to be pregnant. What?
All right, girl.
I want to be pregnant. What? I want to be pregnant.
All right, girl.
So, as you can see, a lot of the reactions are like, what's going on? Like, but I can tell you this much, right? Back in the day, that was not a thing. Her wanting to be pregnant, her wanting to be pregnant back in those days meant that she wanted to build a family. She wanted to be somebody's wife, and she wanted to be a mother, which is admirable because that's one of the highest callings that you can be, is a mother, right? That's one of the highest callings. Now they got a lot of Drake. Okay, 69 messages and 69 missed calls from Drake. I think she meant president. Nah, she didn't mean president. She meant she wanted to be a mother, which I think is commendable thing and aspiration and goal. Like, she wants to be a mother, y'all. Like, that shit is dope. No, she didn't mean president. Drake is still tracking her. Come on now, what your Drake means. The Drake comments. Let me see. Nope, she didn't mean president. Drake can help her. That's crazy. OMG, no. Y'all, why R. Kelly say less? Oh, shit. I don't have a problem with you speaking on this, but posting the video is a bit inappropriate. It's someone's child, and this is scary. I raised 4 girls that all are grown. They all are grown. Okay, I don't know who this is. Queen SB2XV. Mind your business, man. Mind your business. Stay in your lane. Ain't nobody worried about that. You feel me? She shouldn't have posted it. The parent originally posted this video because she thought it was funny. So this is public content, so they can post whatever they like. I hate when people start to try to regulate somebody else's shit. I look forward to more content. Peace, brother. Well, yeah, be supportive, yo. Yeah, it's definitely a topic that we should have. You should definitely be discussed. Definitely be discussed. But I believe that young ladies like her should want and desire to be a mother more nowadays, because we need young ladies to desire to want to be mothers. Not single mothers, but mothers. You understand what I'm saying? Mothers and wives. Like they're a wife and a mother. Let's take a quick break, y'all. Man, we're going to get into another segment real quick as well. Listen, we got a whole nother thing to cover. We're going to start talking about why you were single. Come on, let's get it. This is another video that I wish to cover into why. Why are you single? Why are women single, yo? So, let's go ahead and take a quick little recess, yo. And then once I come back, we gonna go ahead and dive into it, yo. Either way. y'all. Let's go ahead and get back into this thing, right? Okay, so why? So we got Andrew Tate, right? And Sadia psychology. Get a woman. Alright, so I'm familiar with her. And I'm familiar with her content. You know. Here, let me blow this up a little bit. Zoom in here. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. I don't know why it won't move, but we're gonna leave it alone. Let's see what we got. So I want to make it a bit fuller for y'all. Come on, man. Whatever reason, I don't want to be fuller. Here we go. Here we go, guys. Hopefully that helps. Now let's go ahead and get into this thing, right?
If you don't abide by them, you're barbaric and you're not
progressive. And they are happy to cancel out entire continents. The whole of Africa is barbaric, the whole of Asia is barbaric. Why? Because you decide the moral. And that's just horrendous. I was so insulted by the reaction to Qatar and the LGBT. I was so deeply insulted, and I couldn't understand how unbelievably racist it was. The idea that white people determine what is progressive, and if they're not on Sparta's side, we are just barbaric. Anyone that agrees with that stance is just a racist. There's no two ways about it. Do we have a guest?
I'm not sure you can open. My point back into that is I feel we've got a guest was going live.
Yeah,
so let's have your opinions on this man. Andrew, look now.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Sorry, I got overexcited, didn't I? You caught me all excited. Hi.
So now you can go into this conversation more. Okay, I didn't want to tell them this is purely unplanned.
Yeah, we were actually supposed to meet today, but we couldn't get it all sorted. But we made it in the end. Praise be to God, we got it.
That's right.
We got it.
Fate. As you walked in, we were just discussing how women tend to become OnlyFans. They push this agenda rather than the mother, the wife, the nice housewife, or a woman to become an engineer. Lukno was saying, I believe truly it's women's fault. They blame men, but women are giving them in. They're making it easy on them.
Can I say something? I really have a message to all the young girls out there. Okay, it's not about, let's not do the blame game, because it's not going to do anything for anyone. It's you've got the power. Okay, this is your life. You've got the power. My mother always told me that. The man is the head and the woman is the neck. You can be smart, you can be educated.
We were actually supposed to meet today, but we couldn't get it all sorted. But we made it in the end. Praise be to God, we got it in the end. Right. You caught me all excited. Hi.
Now you can go into this conversation more. I didn't want to tell them this is purely unplanned.
Yeah, we were actually supposed to meet today, but we couldn't get it all sorted. But we made it in the end. Praise be to God, we got it in the end. Right. We got it.
As you walked in, we were just discussing how women tend to become OnlyFans. They push this agenda rather than the mother, the wife, the nice housewife, or a woman to become an engineer. Lukno was saying, I believe truly it's women's fault. They blame men.
Hold on. Before he gets into this, Andrew Tate, of course, has made some remarks and has gendered a lot of, I guess, scrutiny. You know what I mean? Using the word, the Nigger word, hard ER, big hard on the ER, y'all. And he's gendered a lot of whatever backlash. But the man's half black, yo. Like, his father's black. He's black. You know what I'm saying? His father's a black man. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't understand what the problem is, you know? But my thing is that guys who's like Andrew Tate and looks like Andrew Tate, who looks sort of European morally than he does, like myself, like with melanated or black features, they can get away with saying that shit, right? And still kind of blend in with other cultures. You know what I'm saying? Because their father is a black man. He is a melanated man. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if you can be a chameleon in that way, man, use it to your advantage. But If Ludacris can say it, if other mulatto people like fucking Drake can say it, then I don't see what the hell we talking about when it comes to him. I think they just trying to find anything. Let's get to it.
Men, but women are giving them in, they're making it easy on them.
Can I say something? I really have a message to all the young girls out there. Okay, it's not about, let's not do the blame game because it's not going to do anything for anyone. It's, you've got the power. Okay, this is your life. You've got the power. My mother always told me that the man is the head and the woman is the neck. You can be smart, you can be educated. Don't waste your time. Don't take away your power by just going on Instagram, being an influencer, not doing anything with your life. And don't play the victim. Be nobody's victim. You know what I mean? That's yeah. That's my thought.
And I was a bit more. It's also the men's fault because they invest in these.
It's always the men's fault, isn't it?
I would say.
Wallah. Doesn't mean it's the all truth, yeah.
It's a societal issue. If I'm a girl and if I'm a vulnerable 15-year-old girl with no money and I can either go to school and get a long education, or there's a guy that's going to pay for my flights and my rent, if I just post a thirst trap, you're speaking to vulnerable people, not just educated people in society.
Yes, but you have a choice. Do you die screaming like a little girl, or do you die with dignity?
Can I just intercept with one thing? You made a good point about 5 minutes back. You did say you go to like Jordan, Israel, Afghanistan, or India, or some villages. The women are poor. They have nothing. Maybe no father's been killed. They have nothing. Yet you don't see them act that way.
But they have a different form of what.
You know, that's a like.
Different form of that. They marry, even if a guy's 20 years older than him, they'll marry into him, and she's 15 years old because they're in survival mode. So I think what we're neglecting is if men stop investing in these girls, these OnlyFans girls, and start investing in the good girls, there's more motivation to be good. But if I was a 14-year-old in this day and age, I'd be like, I'm just going to work out and get a BBL and get a shortcut.
It's valid. It's a good point.
But
Society's degenerate. It's not men and women. Society's degenerate. It depends on what part of the world, of course, as well. But especially in the Western world, there are such benefits for degeneracy, and there's no stigma against it. There's none.
That's facts. To be a degenerate in the U.S., man, listen, you're gonna be a millionaire. All you gotta do is be retarded as shit, right? And drool from the mouth, and you get millions of dollars just thrown in your lap. Rather than hard-working individuals like myself and many others who go out here and grind and actually have skills and talents. You just gotta work harder. But just you go out here and start drooling from the mouth and you retarded as shit, then you're gonna make millions in the US, yo.
None of the stigma, even the things you're discussing and talking about, I agree with you completely. But a lot of these girls don't feel.
I just can't be that fake to be retarded. You know what I mean? I can't fake it that tough.
Feel any shame. They don't feel any ounce of shame.
And it's a job. It's no different to a job. We've normalized it to the point where it just feels like a job for these women. And I think that when I was saying to them when I was younger and before, if you were known as, in my culture, Pakistani, you grew up in Luton, and so, if I even walked into a restaurant with a boy, it would be like, oh my God, she's such a slag. Like straight away I'd get a label and I wouldn't be able to get married. But now these girls are getting married to rappers. They're having kids with rappers. The strippers.
Yo, she's absolutely right. Like, it's changed so much because you be looked at as a floozy. They'll be like, you walk down the street and they'll be hollering at you fast ass. Like, as a young lady who's hanging around with boys too much or too often. Fast ass. You be called all kind of crazy names. Nowadays, you get locked up calling somebody fast ass. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of crazy. And they'll be more likely to encourage her to get out here and be a slut, so like Sexy Red and all them,
Getting married. So what motivation is left for young women when men are dropping their standards in terms of promiscuity? They don't mind a promiscuous woman anymore.
I don't think men are ever going to stop wanting to see bikini pictures. You know what I mean? It's not going to change. That's why I'm saying it's up to us. Like I'm saying, we really need to make the effort because we are the mothers. You know what I mean? I just feel like we're taking away from.
Look, I know I keep stopping this video, but listen, they're hitting on so many different points. I recently posted or made a post on TikTok not too long ago, and the women came out the woodworks for me, man, saying all kind of crazy shit. Like, all I said was women should hold each other accountable when they're doing some crazy ass shit out here in this world, right? That they should hold each other accountable. And they're like, well, why don't you mind your business? I'm like, damn, listen, yeah, like, but it takes men to encourage other women to hold each other accountable, because y'all not gonna do it on your own. So let's just be honest, right? You know, it takes men who's supposed to defend your ideology and beliefs to tell you, like, hey, you probably should check each other when y'all out of line. So, but she's stating that right now, we should hold each other accountable. Great point.
From our power. And I agree with you in what you're saying, because yes, a lot of girls don't have opportunities, X and Y. That's why I think it's all about education.
Yeah.
You know, you find a lot of wrong things going on in society, mostly in the poorer areas as well. So it is really all about education, I think.
Yeah, but I do think that's a privilege.
I think the term is, like Andrew has mentioned before on podcast, godless. Godless society.
There's a huge split. What we're discussing here is not universal.
Hello! If you are watching this video, you're looking for ways to increase your website.
Skip that.
Across the planet, right? Yeah. The things we're discussing here, the idea of women, like you're saying, having a reputation and promiscuity being frowned upon, all those things make perfect sense here. The idea of a woman sticking to education and not getting a bad reputation and working hard, that makes sense here. But in Miami, it's godless. It's complete. It's a godless city.
If I don't believe in God, praise be to God, I do. But if I don't have the idea that God's watching me, what motivation as a young girl with a great body and great looks would I have to go the long route to getting success when there's a man willing to pay me 2-3 grand just for a feet pick?
Well, I think
you know. So why don't we address the men in not being?
But are we all going to be sheep? Like, for example, and a lot of people say he has money, he has it all. Why would you become Muslim when you have everything? Why would he want to limit himself in a way? So surely God's given us brains or ways to think, what is life about? What's the purpose?
It's not just God watching, but it's not just as God watching, I'm going to go to hell. You know what I mean? I think it goes beyond that. I mean, you still have a brain. God created you with a brain. You should still have principles without that. But I think even when it comes to, yes, education is a privilege, but nowadays the real influence is on social media. And any kid in Gaza, there's an amazing rapper in Gaza, God bless him, like, he's on social media, he's an influencer, you know what I mean? Even if a kid in Gaza has access to social media, then we can have influence. That's why we need more women role models.
Yeah, definitely need that.
And then the influencers will also become less and less, because girls will see, well, you know what, I do have another chance, I do have another option.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think the broader question is, I'd like to ask you two very intelligent ladies, why do you think society is trying to program women to act this way? Because I believe society is trying to, especially in the West, it's trying very hard. We're talking about the advantages of a girl doing OnlyFans, for example. Yes, her life can improve. But the broader question is, why is all the culture, all of society, the matrix as a whole, trying to destroy the baseline morality of humans, men?
Let me answer that before they do. The reason why they're trying to destroy the family structure as a whole is the reason why I promote people to find a family and build and grow with that family. It's the opposite of what they would want. The reason why it's still illegal for you to be a polygamist in this country is because the sheer strength and power that comes from unity in families. They want you to struggle. It's the reason why banks don't allow you to do credit repair. They don't want you doing credit repair because they don't want people to have good credit. Same reason why schools don't teach children about credit utilization, how to balance a checkbook. I remember back when, a long time ago, they used to teach you how to sign and write your own checks. They don't do that anymore, as far as I know. You know what I mean? They don't do that anymore. These are the reasons why. They don't want you to truly be successful, productive adults. They want you to be slaves. They want you to be corporate entities and just capital for collateral. How and why? Because when they take out trillions of dollars on your name, on the books, with your social, with your birth certificate, they don't care about if you're going to be successful in life or not. Only thing they care about is they can be able to use you for collateral. If they can't use your collateral, then you're worthless to them. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why. And the stronger families are, the less control they have. That's the reason why I'm telling you, when you walk outside and step outside, you look to your left and right and you see your neighbors and you don't say hi, it's because it's systematically designed for you to be individuals. You're supposed to be individualized. Same thing with women. You're supposed to have a sense of attachment to one man, right? My man, my man, my man, my man. That's how you should feel. That's how they want you to feel. Rather than being somebody who's open to sharing and being a part of another family to build and grow a legacy, right? That would strengthen the family structure. You choose to isolate. That's your choice. That's the choice you would make. And that's the choice they designed you to make. Through Disney, they designed you to make that choice, right? Through music, they designed you to make that choice. But they also designed for you to be unsuccessful in that choice that you've made to be monogamous. Through music, through influence, right? Through not understanding your man, that he may not be a monogamous man at all. Most men are usually quite polygamous. So it's all systematically designed to destroy a family structure because it's too much of a threat when you have a successful tribe of family, right? And you got little ones that's going to grow up to be even stronger men and women that could possibly overcome a nation. Just ask the 12 tribes, right? Keep go back to that. But let's see what they got to say about it.
And women, because they're trying to convince men not to be men. Everything that was traditionally masculine, everything I've said has got me canceled. They tried to ruin my life for saying a man should be a man. And if you say a woman should be a woman and she should protect herself and protect her access to herself, and she should not allow men to just view her naked, etc., then you're somehow demonized. And they want to put Cardi B in place instead, where she's saying that everything that a woman can get naked and that's fantastic, and anyone who disagrees with it is it slut shaming? Is that called a thing? Shaming. So why is society doing this to men and women? That's the real question.
Well, I think if you're breaking down the home, the best and quickest way to do that is attacking the woman. And there's more money in lonely, sad women. We consume everything. So if I get to a certain age and I'm not married, I'm going to be more likely to be on prescription drugs. I'm going to be more likely to turn to surgery. I'm going to be...
That's right. Surgery, prescription drugs, invest in pet food. And make sure that you are selling some good pet items, because listen, these dogs gonna have to stay warm with their cute little sweaters. So everybody who do crocheting and knitting out there, start knitting dog sweaters and crocheting dog sweaters and cats, things like that, because them things is gonna be flying off the shelves. They're gonna be so lonely, man. They've been focused on career, they've been focused on the bag, they've been focused on going to Dubai, and being portal potties. They've been focused on everything else but being a family woman, then being a mother. You know what I'm saying? Matters what they're designed for biologically. So, and listen, these ladies are on point. This is a great panel of people to put them in, and listen. If you ain't getting nothing from this conversation, you must be base-minded. You must be an idiot. Like, you got to really open up your mind and listen to what's going on, because this is what society is facing on a daily basis. That's what problems are. You know what I'm saying? So to reverse it, open your mind up. Be more open-minded. Receive information. Don't be so closed-minded, right?
More likely to just indulge, whereas when you have a purpose, those things all take a back burner. So that's why I think it's completely designed to make more money and to destroy the home and make people dependent on then your God becomes social media. When you don't have a God and you don't have a stable home, your God becomes society. The laws determine your morality, and the quicker they can get you to believe that God doesn't exist and the law is your source of morality, the quicker they can control you.
I think there's definitely an agenda for sure. Absolutely, 100%. But I think the only way to fight it is to stick to, to have discipline, to not follow, like, last year I made a decision. I went on my Instagram. I was like, okay, I myself am following some influencers. So I was like, unfollow. Just be more aware of your lifestyle and your surroundings and your friends and what you're consuming on Netflix. You know what I mean?
Do you guys follow girls on Instagram?
No, they fixed that for me. By deleting me from the platform.
Do you have it? He only has MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.com. That's what
honestly,
bringing back MySpace.
I only follow my wife. And actually Lubna because with the podcast and probably I think. And that's from work related. You can tell. It's nothing more than that. And it's
did you when you first came on social media?
I never have.
No?
You would have never seen me ever follow FHM girls. It's like never.
Really? You just used to go straight to the message?
No. I'm a Muslim. I practice my religion to the extent that I can. And for me, even if you were to do sins, I think I'd be ashamed to be public about it.
Yeah, exactly.
As I'm like, you'd be ashamed. Everything's for privacy. These women, like you said, they're proud of showing booty. A man, men have always been okay, like you said, through society. Like our dads came as freshies on the boats to the UK, saw a white girl, blonde hair. They probably perved into strip clubs, but it wasn't you don't share it. It's just like a thing you do. But women now, making it a public thing is like we're celebrating porn in a way which was out, like it was seen as shameful only a few years ago. So that's what's.
Well, yeah, I don't want to take responsibility away from men, but women have always been the gatekeepers. Men have always been men. I think if you look at any period of history in any part of the world, no matter what the culture, if men had unlimited access to sex, they'd take it. I think it's biological for men to be that way and try and reproduce as many women as possible. I think that women have always been the gatekeepers. They've always been the ones who are saying no. And if women break down the gates and no longer say no, then they're going to have promiscuous societies in godless cities like Miami, like I just described. And I agree with
And so this is the reason why they're canceling him, right? It's because, the anti-speech of promiscuity. If I said that right. I did say it right. But being promiscuous as a person, as a woman or whatever, speaking against it when there's so many people who are influencers that are pushing it. You know what I mean? And it's absolutely correct. Because, what society would you want to live in if it's a free-for-all? For everybody, there is no boundaries or standards. You know what I'm saying? What would society look like in that way? And what benefits would come from it? How beneficial would that be to anyone on the planet, right? If the society is just a free-for-all, do what thy will, has an Aleister Crowley mentality. You know what I mean? How? With no basic morality. Now this guy here, Andrew Tate, he used to be an atheist. He's a practicing, I believe, Muslim. Just based on an obvious push to not keep your particular faith and belief system. And that's very obvious that they would push that. They would encourage you to not have any morals, any standards, any boundaries, things like that. When you go to a religious belief system, right? I'm not saying that you gotta be this type of person, right? I'm just saying once you have a structure, right? Or somebody you have to answer to hold you accountable. Accountability is the thing that's going to keep you in morality, right? To keep your morals straight. Because if you feel as though you've done something and it would result in ultimate consequence coming from the Most High, then it would refrain you from doing a lot of harm to people in the world. But if you don't have that fear, then you are out here causing and wreaking havoc, right? But even if you feel like, okay, well, the Bible is a bunch of bullshit. If you take a moment to actually read and study the Bible for just knowledge purposes, not just because, there's a religious belief attached to it, it has a lot of information in it that teaches you how to be a great person or a decent human being on this earth. It teaches you how to have great dietary standards to be sure that you're not, you don't have a bunch of parasites in your body coming from pork or coming from shellfish and things like that gives you these issues, but to keep you in a more healthy lifestyle. It teaches you different aspects about life that would benefit your life, in a tremendous way. How to have a moral compass, things like that. How to treat your elders, how to treat your loved ones, how to treat your spouse. It teaches you about a lot of those things. And even if you don't believe in a higher power, you still can believe in knowledge. You believe in science, right? Well, that's knowledge. Science is knowledge. The book has knowledge in it. And it is everything that's within it that teaches you how to live in this world, right, is accurate and it's true and it's been proven by science to be true. So, you can just take that as a book that teaches you how to walk in a straight line. So, yeah.
With you in terms of them deliberately trying to destroy the family home. They are doing that. Part of it's for consumerism because they want consumerism to be our gods. That's absolutely part of it. But another reason is I think a lot of the plans that people have who are in charge of the world across the next 100 years are truly draconian and they're truly evil and the things they're going to plan to do to people and the lives we're going to be forced to live. And if you destroy the family unit, if you destroy the idea of standing up, the problem is if a man has a family, he'll die for it. If a man's woman doesn't listen to him, his kids he doesn't talk to, when they come along with these draconian rules and bullshit, you're kind of like, oh, whatever. I'll just move country, or I'll just leave it, or I don't care, right? They're trying to destroy the resistance and the resilience amongst the population so they can make slaves of us all. And I think that the family unit is a big part of that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Woman is the best way to do it.
Well, absolutely.
Did I not just say that? I mean, come on. It's obvious, though, for those who are looking, for those who are watching, those who are paying attention. It's obvious because he's not saying nothing that's like coming out of his own brain. That's just not obvious. It's very obvious. The reason why you have the president that you have in office right now, obvious, easy to be able to do what you want if the person don't even remember what you did yesterday or what he ate yesterday or remember not to take a shit on himself. It's so easy to be able to control a society who thinks they're in control. If you believe that you have control, you believe that you're in control, it's so easy to control you. It's so easy to feed you just BS. Because you think that you're the one who's picking. You're not picking. The reason why they tried to assassinate Trump not long ago. Because if he gets office, if he takes that position, then he's not going to be so easy to control. Has his own money, can make his own decisions, doesn't need them for nothing. The only thing that's left to do is to murder him. They already done took him to court. He's still running for presidency. They already took him to court and sued him. Tried to lock him up, throw him in federal prison. That didn't work. So what's the next step? Assassination. Kill him. That didn't work. So what's next? If they don't take him out soon enough, he's gonna win this presidency for the election. I'm pretty certain, unless somebody jumps in the way and interferes. So
absolutely, because if you have a woman who's truly ride or die, truly by your side, and kids who truly love you, you're going to stand on that porch with a shotgun and say, "No, you're not coming in this house."
Not only that, right? If you have a family that truly loves you, truly rides or die, truly supports you, it's easier for you to make sound decisions as the head of that home. And to keep that home afloat and to make just great decisions.
It's time for me to get set up for therapy, and I use this room as my
structure as a whole. And so that's what that is, period. A man has to be able to be focused, right? And then so in his focus, he can be able to steer the ship and guide the family the way it is needed. And that just stems from the woman being in line, being in order, down to the children being in line and being in order. You know, honor, respect, integrity, keeping that and keeping it in the forefront is something that's extremely important to do, and to not do it is detrimental to not only your health, but also to the family's health and safety and stability. Because if this man is feeling like he's not respected and he's going out trying to, here we go. All right, we're going to do that real quick. And he's going out trying to find a level of respect, right? It's hard for him to focus on those things if he's impulsing, right, like crazy. So he buying and purchasing things off impulse because he didn't feel respected at home. He's depressed. He's down about it. He's going off of impulse. He might be moving in ways that are not beneficial to the family, just based on those reasons alone. And it's so easy for a man to move like that, right? But it's so easy for a woman to be able to help him through it, if she is focused on being sure that he can focus on the family and keeping the family stable, right? If he can focus on that and creating and what he's designed to do while she handles that back end work, then they would be a very successful family unit. Now this camera is decent, all right, but it's not gonna be acting up on me like the other one. Man, I hope y'all learned something today, because I done went through a lot of information. Listen, we've been on here for almost 3 hours, and we're gonna keep it rocking, right? Because my thing is that when identifying some of these issues, we gotta know that there's a problem, and if we can't diagnose an issue and show the issue, then we can't fix the problem. So they didn't teach how to balance a checkbook. No, they don't teach you how to do anything that's worth learning in school besides read and write. They don't teach you how to do anything. Algebra is cool, but what if I don't want to be a damn scientist? You know what I'm saying? Those should be secondary type of classes. Maybe I need to go ahead and start being a part of a board or a committee or something, and implementing some of these teachings of finances, of balancing checkbooks, of credit, understanding how to utilize not only personal credit, but business credit, understanding how to build a business, how to establish a business. These are some of the things that you should know right out the gate, right? You should know how to do these things. In intermediate school, you should be learning how to balance a checkbook, how our financial system works. But if they're teaching people at that age, they would start to learn and realize that honestly, it is fraudulent anyway in nature. So, you'd be waking a whole society up to fraudulent activity, and they'll have a whole problem. That would mean economic collapse on their end. We wouldn't be affected because they need us to only keep the society going, to keep the economy going. They need us, but it would mean collapse for them because it's fractional reserve banking, quantitative easing. This is what this is. It doesn't benefit anybody but them, but the banks, but the system that's getting you to cooperate with it. So that's one of the biggest things, And so, I like to listen in on some of these conversations, especially when it comes to like Andrew Tate and things like that, because they really touch on some really good topics that make a lot of sense and that people really should consider. They should really think about it before they end up regretting it. One of the biggest things is this, right? Now I'm gonna see what's up. Go over here. Because, we got into that just now. Okay, men gain self-esteem. Let's see.
The key for a man is self-control. For women, it's authenticity. You have to stay authentic as possible because our body tells us so much. Our body will tell you when you're craving a child, when you're getting angry because our hormones are all over the place. For a man, your body sometimes speaks against you. It will crave pleasure. Your key to successful mental health is complete and utter self-control in terms of your mind, body, and soul. You control what you consume. You control who you put yourself into. You don't go and sleep with every single one. You actually gain far more self-esteem when you reject women than when you accept women. That man that has women that he's rejecting feels far greater than that man who can't say no to anybody because he's jumping at the opportunities. Self-control even with what you eat. When I have clients that come to me and they've got a bit of depression, I say to them, until you go to the gym and until you lose weight, there's no conversation that me and you can have that will change your self-esteem. It won't do it. Don't have to have a six-pack, but self-control. Now, when a man practices self-control, he becomes such an unshakable being. The key for a man is self-control. For women, it's authenticity.
And yeah, I mean, self-control, now authenticity is a bit different for women. Being authentic, unpacking that, would love to unpack that more. But self-control for men, let's dive into that. Self-control for men is totally different. Self-control for men and being under control, right, of yourself, of your emotional state, meaning you're not going around punching holes in walls, right? You're not going around putting your hands on women because you can't control your own emotions, right? You're not putting your hands on your children because, you know, they may just for no reason at all, right? You're not doing things that out of spite and out of anger, but you're doing it out of love, right? When it comes to your children, out of discipline, out of teaching them, right? You should never do anything like that with your children out of anger. You should never put your hands on your child because you're angry. Best thing to do is to calm down first and then discipline them appropriately, because you never know what you do in the midst of anger in disciplining your child. You can really hurt a child when you're angry and disciplining. So, but being in control for a man is one of the most pivotal things for him. And one of the things that you learn as you're growing, right? As you're growing as a young man into an actual man, right? You learn how to be under control of your emotions. You're learning, you're being trained on it. And it's the reason why one of the most important things is to have a father and a mother in the home, especially for a young man in this area. Because if a father is not in the home for him, he lacks the ability of self-control and being able to control his emotions. Of course. Why? Because a woman can't teach that to a man, because a woman don't know that for herself, right? Not effectively, right? I mean, she can control it to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, there's going to be a breakdown for her, especially based on a lot of things she may have to endure or go through throughout the day. It might have been a really tough day. Her initial response based on that day is to cry, right? Is to have an emotional response, as to where a man will have a resilient response. His way of dealing with that is to dig in and to focus. And that's most men, right? Most men will dig in and focus. Now, you can tell when a man is feminine is when he starts to cry about the littlest shit, right? And he starts to complain too much, constantly, right? Never satisfied, really, and don't know how to maintain a healthy relationship with others without complaining, without trying to start drama and being in a certain focus of drama. So those are feminine traits. Men don't want drama. Men don't need drama in order to live or breathe. Men want to find issues within their life and be able to solve those issues and problems so they can move forward as a people, especially when it comes to anybody they're having conflict with. They want to find a resolution, whether the resolution would be, fighting, and actually getting it off your chest that way and moving on from it, or having a great conversation and being able to come to a resolution and move on. That's how men solve issues and problems. It's either one or the other. There is no trying to hold or maintain a grudge, you know what I mean? Like, that's an feminine trait as well. That's based on what women do. Women typically hold grudges, and they're usually pretty catty with each other. Men should be able to hear a joke and be able to laugh about it, right? And not hold it against somebody. But women, they'll take it very personal. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you talking about? Why are you saying this about me? Things like that. They'll take it very personal. Whereas where men would laugh it off, if they're an actual man, they'll laugh it off, and then shit, they'll crack a joke back, and that's just kind of how they do things. That's how we do things. Shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm not one to shy away from a good joke. I'm not really, gonna be bitching about it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of what the difference is in feminine traits, Now, for a woman in a whole, being authenticity, I believe it's like boundaries, setting boundaries, you know, respecting others' boundaries, you know, being respectful, being honorable, being there, being committed, being loyal. So, yeah, as a woman, you definitely need to do all of that. Being kind. Just be a nice person, yo. Just be a decent person. Just be a decently nice person. And I promise you, any man would love to, you know, be committed to you. And she's just nice to me. You understand what I'm saying? She's just nice to me. And that's all a man really is looking for. Just being, shit, your girlfriends, your homegirls is looking for a woman just to be nice to her. Just be nice. Just be a nice person. Don't nobody want to be around somebody who's bitching all day, constantly complaining, or having complaints all the time. It's okay to have your moments, but it's not okay to always and consistently all the time have your moments. That's not okay. So yeah, just be considerate of others. Be considerate of their space. All right. I thought that was great information coming from, like I said, she really does touch on some really great topics. Y'all go check her out. Now, this guy here who reposted this, Chris Willix, is another guy who, of course, I'm not subscribed to him, but I believe I've heard some of his stuff before too, and he's pretty solid. I mean, focused on building up men, things like that, and making them stronger men. The Modern Wisdom Podcast, yeah, that's what he's hosting. I would have to dive a little deeper into what his content is, but from what I've heard so far, he's got some great information for men to really consider, as well as women. I think that women should spend more time listening to men speak about how they would like to be treated, rather than them, you know, listening to each other. Because men know what they want. And, you know, a girl I used to date, she used to listen to this one thing. This is a huge red flag, and I definitely shouldn't have ignored it. It was a podcast of women who were talking about being promiscuous women, right? And how it was okay to be that, right? Like, it was cool to hold this position of being with whoever they felt like they wanted to sleep with at the time, and then them not being ashamed of it, right? Which shame is one of the things that has left society that honestly, definitely, you know, should regret that, right? But let's see, I'm gonna open this up. Huge red flag though, major red flag. Definitely don't want to ignore that, because that means it's something she's interested in. I don't care. Oh no, this is something she's listening to. No, it's just something you're interested in. If you're going to listen to a podcast that's speaking about it for hours, you're interested in that for yourself, and you just want to be sure that you want somebody to validate it. You want somebody to validate your emotions in it, your feelings, what you want. You want it to be validated. And that's what that's about. All right, so listen, we're going to go ahead and go on to a comment. Let me find a good comment. We're going to talk about this comment somebody made real quick. Okay, now look at that. So let me go ahead and go over here. Boom. Look, if y'all ain't had time, make sure you like this live stream. Listen, we dropping so many gems and jewels. I just want to bring as much information today as possible, real quick, about this relationship thing. And so many people need help with it. Honestly, you really need to be teaching your children this. They need to be growing up learning a lot of this information. So once they do hit the dating market, they're adults, they'll know what to do and how to move, right? They're not going to just be getting fed to the wolves out here and unprotected. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be able to spot a smooth talking guy who just wants the draws a mile away and be like, okay, well, let me not even be bothered with it. It's for their own protection at the end of the day. And these young men out here, they'll understand how to identify a woman who is out just to get their money. You know, they just want the coin, or they just they're users. They're master manipulators, right? They want to usurp his authority. They want him to have his balls in their purse. They're promiscuous. They're kind of not loyal. These type of men or these type of women, they'll be identified at, you know. But the more that they learn, the better they'll come out, the better they'll turn out, the more productive in society they'll be. We'll have better, you know, family structures and marriages because we teaching them young, man. So don't be lazy about it, man. Get about teaching your children about these things. All right, so who do I want to pick on this? Listen, we got things. Let's go to this one because this is one of the pretty popular videos I posted.
If you have at least $50,000 saved for retirement right now in 2023, did you know that you can legally become your own bank? Yes, you heard that right. You know what that means? No more stress about banks failing or accounts freezing. Tremendous yield by lending your money safely and beating inflation for good. Instant transfers 24/7 on your own schedule. Essentially, ultimate freedom.
Gold Surfer 639 says, bro, imagine being married to someone like Brittany. Listen, that's a nightmare that nobody wants to imagine. That's the reason why I'm telling y'all to teach y'all children, man. Because, you know, if you know Brittany Renner, she is a manipulative. I don't believe she's very loyal. And also, she is never satisfied. There's no satisfying her. I remember talking about women finding difficulty in happiness or not being able to be happy. First of all, you take a look at them. They wearing somebody else's hair. They putting on somebody else's eyelashes and putting on somebody else's nails. You should be happy with what you got. Obviously, you're not, you know, because you gotta use something different. So if we just go based on that and then move into relationship wise, I believe that there was a poll or there was a question that was asked by I forget whatever podcast I believe, and they were asking. No, it was No Fugaze. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. It was No Fugaze, right? He was like, "Look, I'm gonna pull it up real quick." He was asking these chicks a question. About, you know, of course, levels of men and things like that. Let me see if I can find it, because you know what? I don't want to give it away. It was recently, man. I was listening in on this and I'm like, man, this is crazy. But honestly, like when he was doing it, he could have been, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it.
Wrong too, because we've been rambling on for a little bit. You said that also. You said men are intimidated by a woman like you.
Okay, I don't think that's it.
How did you construct that? You said something about a man being intimidated by an independent woman like you.
Jeez, I'm scared I'm gonna get cut for this. As a woman, I'm entitled for everything. Just like how you feel like you're entitled to say something, so am I. I'm an independent woman. I make money. I do what I need to do. Men are truly bothered by it, because when it happens to that, they want to provide for a woman, because that's what men are supposed to do. They're supposed to provide for a woman. So when a woman already has everything.
That's when they feel intimidated.
That's when they feel intimidated. So when I'm over here and I want to pay for my I want to do this and I want to pick up something by myself. It intimidates them. They want a girl that doesn't do anything so they can get her pregnant and keep getting her pregnant and have kids.
Hey, let me click on this. That's interesting, she said. What is she talking about?
Okay, so no, I disagree. I'm sorry.
Got it. Well, it wasn't a disagree. I wanted to know your statement. I didn't even say anything, so it's nothing to disagree about. So your argument is men feel intimidated by you because they naturally want to protect and provide for women. So when they see a woman like you, that's independent and doing all of these things and don't need a man, then they start to feel intimidated and
then
insecure.
they cheat. Yeah,
they would cheat because of that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh what? Oh my God. What?
So we talked about being presumptuous earlier, right? This very presumptuous of her. Most men cheat because women stop putting out in the marriage or in the relationship. She stopped. Oh snap! Hold up. Let me go back because I had y'all muted on that, huh? She stopped putting out. That's the reason why they typically do what they do. It's not because you are an independent woman, boss babe, don't need no man. You know what I'm saying? It's not because of that. Like he's stepping out because, and if he is cheating based on that, it's because you not what he want, truly. But, maybe he's still getting sex from you. You know what I'm saying? But 9 times out of 10, they're doing this because you stop putting out. And that's not what he signed up for.
So they can get her pregnant and keep getting her pregnant and have kids and feel like he's king.
Okay.
So
I don't like how she's demonizing women getting pregnant, and making it seem like a man is just focused on getting her pregnant. That makes no sense.
no, I disagree. I'm sorry.
Got it. Well, it wasn't a disagree. I wanted to know your statement. I didn't even say anything, so there's nothing to disagree about. So your argument is men feel intimidated by you because they naturally want to protect and provide for women. So when they see a woman like you, that's independent and doing all of these things and don't need a man, then they start to feel intimidated and
Yes, then they
insecure.
cheat. Yeah,
and they would cheat because of that.
Yeah. Yeah. What? Oh my God. What? They get so intimidated by it and they want a girl that's like, oh, can you buy me this and can you buy me that? Because they know that when I come home, I'm going to cook, I'm going to clean, I'm going to have the house ready, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that. All you have to do is lay down and what? That's all you have to do.
Let me ask you a question, Jack.
Please.
Hello. Communicate in English easily. Use Grammarly and...
Did you ever have a man that was successful enough to, pay the bills and take care of everything where you didn't have to work and working was elective for you?
Yes, and it mentally killed me because I am an independent woman and I was not raised that way.
Okay,
I
now
want
another
to put my
question
50
for you.
in as well.
So you had a man like that, and did you have a man that wasn't financially successful and you had to go 50-50?
Yes.
You did have, so you had both type of guys.
I've had every type.
Okay.
Yes.
So the reason why you think that the man is intimidated by you, so one, I'll say this. A man is incapable of feeling insecure or intimidated by a woman because men are naturally, from a biological standpoint, a woman is not a man's competition. And also, men have authority over a woman from a biological standpoint. We are just physically stronger than you. We wield the physical force, right?
But not men have many manly figures to do that and be that figure.
Let me finish, right? So men, naturally, what I'm saying is, we are incapable of feeling intimidated or insecure by an independent woman that's out there chasing a bag. Because, one, like I said, from a biological standpoint, we have authority over the woman. And then also, the reason why you feel that way and you think it in your mind is because subconsciously you view the man as less. When you get a man that's maybe not working as hard and not providing the bag, or when you get a man that is providing the bag, but he's lacking in other areas, right? Maybe he's inadequate in other areas. You look at that man as less subconsciously. So then you think that he's insecure based off your financial success. But in reality,
I can guarantee you that money means absolutely nothing to women. Even though they state that this is something they care about, I guarantee you that's not it. What is it that they truly care about? If it ain't money, you know what I'm saying? What is it? Don't get me wrong. It's a huge part, right? Huge part. Whatever. But why I say that is because you have so many men who are very wealthy, very well known, has prestige, has power, has notoriety, famous, right? Can't even keep a woman. 9 times out of 10, most of them have been married at least twice and currently are divorced right now. Have been cheated on, right? Man, listen, what Trippie Redd had a woman he was with that got pregnant by another man. Like, what? Got Chris Brown who got to beat Rihanna ass in the car just because whatever they were going through. You got problems regardless if you got money or not. Like, there is no, you can't say that money is the thing. It's not. It really ain't, because they could have everything. It's the level of them being content. They're not content. How content are you? A woman has to deal with that within herself. She has to internalize her emotions about how she feels about things. You got this list of things that you want, 6 foot, whatever, 6-figure earner, but you're just going to get with them and cheat on them, right? Because you haven't learned yourself. You haven't internalized what you're looking for and then made sure that you were able to meet the standards of what you're looking for, which is, you're providing a loyal space, loyalty, being exclusivity to this man. So I'm kind of not convinced, right? Of course you got gold diggers out there and everything, and they still use the man for what they want to use him for, but they still have their little men on the side that they go and see, regardless on if he's providing everything or not, And as a man, you have to make a determination whether you want to fully invest or if you would like to, or what you want to do. Because, I'm pretty sure as many women that you may see on a daily basis or month to month or week to week, that you don't want to invest that much money into just getting to know women or to talking to women. That's thousands of dollars, that you're spending per month. Just messing around with women, yo. And as one of my favorite songs go to say, like, you can never go broke chasing riches, but you will go broke chasing every little stank ass hoe with a tongue piercing. Come on now, somebody talk to me now. Come on now. Yeah, you gotta be under self-control in that way too, right? Making sure you understand how to budget yourself a bit, just a bit, and don't deal with women like this one.
You're just projecting. So a man, I'm telling you, a man is incapable of feeling insecure. You are just projecting your view of the man. Maybe he's a beta. Maybe he's lacking in this and lacking in that. So you already view that man as less. So then you're projecting how you view him, and you think that that's how he views you. But in reality, a man is incapable of viewing a woman. A man is incapable of being insecure or intimidated by a woman because a woman is in competition for a man. There's no competition. You can't compete for a man.
I disagree. I actually think that some men are actually very jealous of women because of their independence. So just like how a lot of men want women to be like their mothers, where how their mothers are independent and take care of them and they want them to cook and clean, it's the same exact concept. So when they actually get that woman, because they want their woman to be just like their mother for some strange reason, when they finally get that woman, then they're intimidated by it, because then they're like, damn, she's doing this and she's doing that.
I'll
she's
tell
doing this
you
and she's
what
doing
they
that.
are. They're
I'm
not intimidated.
Hold on, because I let you talk. I'm not looking down at any man for doing any of that, because believe it or not, as a woman, I'm a nurturer. So if you're down, if you don't have a job, if you don't have this or have that, I'm going to help you until you have it. But when I do that, that's when that.
You know what this is called? This is called pretty privilege. That's what this is called. This is what you're witnessing. She's an attractive, decently attractive girl, right? And when they are decently attractive, even the lower tier women are starting to develop and behave like her. You understand what I'm saying? The undesirables are starting to behave like her. You understand what I'm saying? So, what the hell is going on? That's pretty interesting. My thing is that the reason why she feels the way that she feels and she's saying all the things that she's saying right now, and in challenging the position of a man, saying that a man cares about and is intimidated by her being whatever, a power earner or a go-getter or fucking individualism, whatever she's got going on, it's delusional. And that's what they put down in the title, delusional feminists. I mean, yeah, it's delusional, because I believe that most men don't really care that you make money or that you're self-sufficient. Honestly, if you're self-sufficient, I think that most men would appreciate you being able to be that, but also they wouldn't be intimidated. They wouldn't be competing with you. They wouldn't be, none of that. But they would definitely recognize it, and say, okay, well, that's cool. But I don't think they care enough. Most men that I've met, talked to, spoke with, and myself included, don't give a shit.
Man gets intimidated, and that's when he steps back and says, damn, I'm gonna go cheat on a girl that I can go buy McDonald's with. So I disagree.
I'll tell you what that man is. That man isn't intimidated by a woman like you. He's annoyed by listen.
Whatever. That's how it happens.
He's annoyed by a woman like you, because a man doesn't want to date another man. He wants to date a woman.
Exactly. That's competition. I'm sorry. You feel that's
that
your
isn't
ego.
Competition.
That's your ego
that
feeling some type of way because a woman's making either more than you, or she's coming home and cooking you and you don't even know how to cook. You're a man. How you don't know how to cook?
Let's flip it so it makes sense, right? So let's flip it so it makes sense and kind of pay attention, right? So you just said that, well, I said that a man isn't intimidated. He's annoyed by a woman that's out there doing. You're supposed to be a woman. Chill at home, cook some food, and relax. Why are you out there doing so much? We don't look for that.
I'm a human being. I'm not a submissive woman.
Jax.
I'm a human being.
Yep. One mic at a time.
They hate it when you start talking about cooking. Like, get your ass in the kitchen type shit. Hold up. Damn, I wonder if I got my sound on here. Hold up. My bad. Ooh.
Do not test me, bitch. I will use my fist. I will smack your lip. I will bust your shit. Oh, yeah.
That's the feminist anthem. If that was one.
Talk back one more time. Just one more time. And this will be the scene of a crime. Don't test me, bitch. Don't test me, bitch. Yes, don't test me, bitch. Do not test me, bitch. I will use my fist. I will smack your lip. I will bust your shit. Oh, yeah.
So,
all you do is talk, but you never listen. You're just back in the kitchen. kitchen, make me some chicken. Don't test me, bitch. Don't test me, bitch. My pimp hand is strong.
Doing so
I'm
much.
not
We don't look
submissive.
for that.
I'm a human being. I'm not a submissive woman.
Jax.
I'm a human being.
Yep. Let me one mic at a time. I'll let you speak. Even when you said it.
You're right.
So let's have the discourse, right? So I said something and I said, well, a man doesn't want to date another man. And you said exactly. He doesn't want to date another man, so he's intimidated. Let me ask you a question. And so the reason why I'm saying that a man doesn't want to date another man is because that woman, a woman like you that's independent boss babe, she took on characteristic traits of a man, like being non-agreeable, being assertive, and being dominant, right? Which is all A-type personality traits, which is a naturally masculine trait, right? So when a woman takes on that trait, he does it. It's like, ew, you're like a man now. So it's annoying. It's not intimidating, and it's not. He's not insecure by you. So now let's flip it, right? Let's say if you got with a man and he was very flamboyant and he didn't have any ambition and he was very agreeable. Like he was a yes man. Yes, baby, whatever you want, you can get this. He had no backbone. Would you feel intimidated by that man?
No.
If he was checkmate.
Wait,
Stop it. Stop it. No, stop it. I'm listening. No, stop it real quick. No, I got you. Listen. Stop it real quick. I'm going to ask you again and I need a question. I need an answer to the question.
Okay, do it. Repeat
got
it.
it.
Repeat it.
If a man, I just said that, and you said that I'm going to say it again so you actually understand it. When a man, I said that a man doesn't want to date a woman that's acting like a man, when she takes on more masculine traits. And you said, well, that's because he's intimidated and he's insecure, right? Got it. Now, let's flip it. I'm saying that if you're dating a man and he took on woman traits and he's acting flamboyant, he's not real agreeable, like, yeah, baby, whatever you want. He's very feminine acting. Would you feel insecure or intimidated?
No.
Okay, stop it right there. Stop it. No, stop it. Stop it right there. No, stop it. Stop it.
No, if you're
listen, stop it right there. No, stop it. Stop it. I don't want to hear. Listen, let me make the point. Just stop it. Jax,
with me.
Jax, stop it, please. For the conversation to be concise. You need to listen, right? So you can pick up some game real quick. You just admitted that for the man's side, he would be an insecure man, and he would be insecure man by taking on. I just said with the woman. Stop it. Listen real quick. With the woman taking on traits as a man, you would call that man insecure, right? And intimidated by the woman. But when a man takes on traits as another woman, you wouldn't call that man insecure. You wouldn't feel insecure or intimidated by that man. That's checkmate. Think about it. No, stop it right there. I'm going to help you. And this I'm going to break it down.
Because he's on my level.
No, stop it.
He's going to understand.
Listen. The reason why you wouldn't feel intimidated or insecure by a man that's taking on feminine traits is because you're not in competition with the man, and that's not what you look for from that man. You look for a protector, a provider, a man that's out there doing things. You don't look for a feminine man, you look for a masculine man. So why would you even feel intimidated? Just like the man, he's not feeling intimidated by the woman taking on masculine traits. He's looking for a feminine girl. He's just annoyed by it. Like, why are you trying to be a man? Be a woman. It's annoying. Just like you wouldn't feel insecure. You would feel annoyed. Like, bro, why are you so girly? Why are you so feminine? That wouldn't make you feel insecure. So it's the same way. Attraction isn't symmetrical. It's asymmetrical. So what you find attractive in a man, that doesn't mean a man find those same characteristic traits back in you attractive.
Listen.
So just like, time out real quick,
Jax. I'm
going to let you go in 2 seconds. Just like you naturally you don't want a feminine man, right?
I want whatever's going to play his part. Like I said, if you're metrosexual, hold on. If you're do you know what metrosexual is? Do you know what a lot of people don't know what metrosexual is. A lot of men today is metrosexual. A lot of metrosexual is when a man is 50-50. Is when a man wants to be, when they keep up with their style, when they keep up with things like that. A lot of people like that keep up with women and hold a relationship because they know how to come 50-50 with the woman. They want to look good with their women. They want to go shopping with their women. They want to do this. When you want to be the man all the time and do everything and dominate a woman all the time, it leaves no room for both of you to be whatever the word you want to say it, but it leaves no room for both of you to be that. It's only one does this and one does that. That's not equality. That's not power. That's not life. That's not none of that. It's not he does this and she does that. You do it together. So if he's a little femme, that's fine. You want to know why? Because it goes back to before. Because he came from a woman. So if you have motherly traits and fatherly traits, that's well needed. Why? Because I'm a woman that needs that fatherly trait, but yet I grew up with my mother. So I don't need a man who's going to sit around and tell me what to do all the time. I need a man who's going to tell me, hey, do you want to go and do this? Because I know you like to do that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
I think most women like it when a man just says, "Hey, we're doing this." She wants like a committee. We're taking a vote. Who wants to do this and when? That's a no.
Get your ass back in the kitchen and make me some chicken. Don't test me, bitch.
Well, one thing, when a woman takes on masculine traits, she's a broken woman. When a man takes on feminine traits, he's a broken man. So it's not about, you're looking for equal things. That's why y'all feminists is because you want everything to be so equal. Life doesn't work like that. It can't work that way. It's a social construct. So you were socially constructed to believe in this equalness.
Who told you that?
So what are you talking about?
The Bible? Like,
No.
who told you that? Who told you
You're
that?
looking at it right now. Every guy.
I'm
No,
feminist
stop it.
because
No,
I want my
listen.
man to play his part too. Like
listen.
that's
Stop.
disgusting.
I'm speaking and you just cut me off again. Listen, to understand and not listen to respond. When a woman takes on masculine traits, she's a broken woman. When a man takes on feminine
Yeah. So I think that's easy to say, right? Also, don't forget, we're going to be coming out with a new series pretty soon. And it's going to be called Reflections, y'all. It's going to be called Reflections. For us to be able to reflect on our journey, the healing journey in life. The journey, once you shed a little bit of light, it'll get a little lighter for you. You got to talk about it, right? The journey to healing is light. So be on the lookout for that, man. Like, honestly, we're going to really be opening it up and unpacking a lot of personal experiences that may help a lot of people with things that they may be dealing with out there. Now, I will say this, right? We should all have a clear understanding of our roles by now and how we should be dealing with each other. We should all have a clear understanding. We should have it to where, listen, we got this thing down packed. Honestly, we kind of lost our way there because, you know, over the years, we've been trying to gain all this extra equality, which is cool and all, but you should also want equality on all levels, you know, not just in things that benefit you. So when she's speaking about that, right? And, you know, he's saying that women are broken if they want to be masculine, if they want to take on this persona of an A-type personality, which is more masculine persona. At some point, they went through some sort of traumatizing experience that made them feel as though they had to take that route. They had to take on that personality. Same thing with a man who's emasculated and he's a male, and feminine. Then there was some sort of situation that happened where it traumatized him, and he feels as though in order to keep a woman, he needs to be a yes man, constantly saying yes to everything, or bending his belief system around and molding it around her in order to make her happy. Usually society teaches you to be this way, and then a lot of times you're raised by a single mother too, right? Or you're raised with a mother and a father, but the father is effeminate himself, and he has his balls in his wife's purse. So that's all you really had an example of. But a healthy relationship with father and mother, and father playing his role as father and mother playing her role as mother, don't get you the results of what you're seeing here. Broken people get you this result. And that's just about it. But while we're on the journey of learning and discovering this and self-growth, just keep that in mind. And just want to make that very clear that whenever we come across these issues, we got to really point them out and make them and expose them and make them known. But, you know, that's all I'm looking to cover for today. You guys have any questions, concerns, man, listen, any comments, drop them in the comment section below. Man, let me know what y'all think about all this, right? And until next time, our live is coming through straight. This is Warsheep, and we are out. Peace and shalom.